Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Hello and welcome to the Friday night edition of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We are getting all paranormal tonight. We're heading into the east coast of Canada, like even beyond the 3-hour Eastern time zone from where I am. We're going 4 hours away. Halifax, Nova Scotia. Amy and Tonya are here for some paranormal talk on SOR. Yeah, we're going to have fun with them. You're going to like them. They're already giddy and showing off major teeth. Good teeth and good hair tonight from these ladies. You know we like good hair around here. Absolutely. Okay, well, we also have to say hello to each and every one of you. We got Race Fan in the gold medal position, SJ with a silver, Road Flare with a bronze medal tonight. Trucker Andrew, how you doing? Kathy Evans, nice to see you. The hippie Deidre, who wears Birkenstocks in the middle of winter. Good to see you. T-Bone, my man. How are you, my friend? Robert Lamoth. Nice to have you here. Kitty Caddywhack. Brown Dwarf. Eternity Eternal. Lisa Smith. Gong Show is here. Gong Show will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Looks like I'm eating my microphone. All right, moving on. Scott's Life, nice to see you. Scott B. Mel WD-40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show, because you always want to go into a show nice and smooth, ladies and gentlemen, because if it's not smooth, it's rigid, and it never feels good when it's rigid. You can't do a rigid radio show, so we must lube it up for tonight. Mel is taking care of that as we speak. Astral Fugitive, how you doing? Astral Fugitive will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Matt Carter, Deanna Ann, how you doing? Nice to see you tonight. Lee the Bee, Cosmo Fang, holy shit, it's been a while since we've had you here. How you been doing? All right, continuing on, let us say hello next to Richard Minnick. Thanks for coming on in. I'd shake your hand if you were here, man. I really would. Resonate, how are you? Paramarv, nice to see you. And who is next here? Purple-haired Pixie Lara. J Truth Seeker, nice to have you here. Gory Tiger. And the Silent J, Yennefer. Yennefer is here. Good to see you, Yennefer. Scrolling on down, let's say hello to Ian over on X. How you doing, my man? And who is next? Digger Dog. Always a pleasure to have you here. The Ferret. Good to see you. Boondock Mojo. Thank you for coming on in. Reminder to all of you. Oh, it's Ibarata from Singapore. Yeah, Singapore? Was it Singapore? No, I don't think it was Singapore. Ibarata, update me where you're from again, please. Oh, look, Soul Seekers Paranormal. Welcome to SOR Chat. Yeah, we know you a little bit. It's almost dangerous already. Oh, yeah. Super Chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. And, yeah, he's from Singapore. Singapore. Woo-poo, how are you? Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're delving into the paranormal around Halifax, Nova Scotia tonight. Amy and Tonya are here from Soul Seekers Paranormal, and we are in the middle of roll call right now. So let us next say hello to Noble Patrick. Good to have you here. And who else is joining us here? Well, let's scroll down. We are caught up. Oh, there's Steph, not Steph, Kenny Blankenship. Yo-Yo or JoJo, whatever you prefer. And Lex Diaz. Thanks for coming on in. All right. A reminder to all of you that our Spaced Out Radio store is open on our website. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. You can wear our stuff in public and be proud of it. So go get some right now while you're listening to the show. And Jeff Steve Garvey, he'll hit a home run for you. Nice to see you. Hey, it's that time of the night. Hi, JBD. To throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a power show of paranormal tonight from Soul Seekers Paranormal out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. Amy and Tonya will be here momentarily to tell us all about the ghost ghouls, goblins, and ghost ships of that strange area. Yet you don't swim in the waters there during certain times of year. There's great whites there. Big, huge great whites in the ocean. I've seen them on the maps. I'm never going to Nova Scotia because of the damn sharks. That's for sure. I don't care how much land there is. They're scary. In hour 3, Swamp Dweller is here for another spooky story. Then little Timmy James is going to be here for the UFO report. Let's have some fun tonight. I already know we're going to have fun tonight with these two. Amy and Tonya are the members of Soul Seekers Paranormal, who are dedicated to providing exceptional paranormal events and investigations that combine compassion, adventure, and authenticity. Their kind and caring team ensures respectful interactions with spirits, prioritizing the safety and enjoyment of their guests. Soul Seekers Paranormal likes to take pride in creating an fun and memorable experience, especially for those new to ghost hunting. They prioritize building connections with spirits, seeking to bridge the gap between worlds and facilitate communication and understanding with the deceased. I threw in the deceased there because it sounded really good. Their investigations are grounded in authenticity and sincerity, ensuring that every encounter is genuine and meaningful. I love these ladies already. We're going to have fun tonight. Amy and Tonya, welcome to Spaced Out for Radio for the first time. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
All right, let's get right to it because you two are both intuitives. You're both ghost hunters. You're both into this subject. You're both experienced enough to know what a ghost is or what a ghost isn't. So let's start with you, Tonya. How did you get into this? What started it for you?
Oh, boy. Well, I've had like a lot of experiences in my own home over the years. Sorry, my cats are always going to be joining us every time I'm on anything. So there we go. So I was like born really open. Like I could feel spirits. I could communicate with spirits quite young. And so when you're open like that, it's like everywhere you go, there's going to be something. Every house that you live in, there's going to be something. And so that's just how that's like my normal. Every house is haunted. That's just like normal to me. So when people kind of go, they'll say like, how could you go into these haunted places? Like, I'm like, dude, I live that every day. My house is haunted. There's stuff that happens here all the time. So it's not a big deal for me.
Well, how about for you, Tonya? How did this start for you?
For me?
Or I'm sorry, Amy. Amy, I got you all confused already.
Well, for me, I guess as a child, I was connecting with spirits, but I always thought that I had anxiety growing up, and I would always go into my mom and dad's bed about 4 a.m. It would be 3 or 4 a.m. I would wake up, feel like I thought I was sick because I'd be shaking, and I'd go into their bed and I would shake their bed for a while, and then I would leave. And it was a pattern that happened a lot. And as I got older, it kind of went away, but I still had anxiety. I would still shake sometimes. And I discovered with Tonya through a series of events that this shaking that was happening was me actually connecting with spirits, because as an adult, I had something happen to me, an experience where I started to do the shaking. I thought I was having an anxiety attack. And then my friend's grandfather came through, and I never knew her grandfather. And he was very clear in I could describe him to a T, and I was saying what he wanted. And then another person came through, and then another person came through, and all these visions started coming through, and I started saying all these things, and it was just like a crazy scenario. And so my mom put it together, and she told me that when I told her what happened, she said, well, that makes sense. You did that as a child, like you would shake all the time. And so I think you've been doing this since you were a child. And come to find out, my mom just messaged me the other day, and she goes, you know what? I was just thinking about things. Your grandmother was she saw forerunners, she had an ability to do that. And my uncle and my aunt, my mother, they all have these abilities, and I had no idea. So mom's like, yeah, you come by it honestly. And I was like, Mom, why didn't you tell me all this stuff my whole life? I thought I was crazy my whole life. So I kind of got into it, the actual ghost hunting part with Tonya. We can share our story. I'm sure you're going to ask that at some point, how we started doing this together. But yeah, in my adult years, it kind of started happening when we got together, is when it unlocked all of the things that all came together.
As you decided to both kind of delve into the paranormal and supernatural, Tonya, did you have one experience that was really a turning point for you?
You mean like as a child, going
as a
through
child
this?
or growing up, that was really profound, that you're like, I need to find out more. I need to be concentrating on this.
Well, I think honestly, one of the biggest things was when I was a child, I would do this thing called scrying. I didn't know what it was at the time, and I'd never seen anybody do it. But I would go into the bathroom, and I'm little. I was a little kid. I go into the bathroom, I'd have a candle, turn the lights out, and I'd look in the mirror. And then all of a sudden, my face would start changing. I'd start to see figures behind me. And it was like I would communicate with them, and it was really fascinating to me. And my mom caught me, and she didn't think that was very good. So it kind of shut me down for a little bit, because I was raised quite fundamental Christian. And so that was not something that was very approved of. Let's just put it that way. So I kind of shut things down a little bit because I got scared. But that was probably the biggest thing as a child that I can think of that really imprinted on me, because when I'm looking in the mirror and all of a sudden my face is changing, and then I'm seeing figures and I'm communicating with them, that really sticks in your mind.
And how about for you, Amy? What was that turning point for you?
The turning point for me to get into ghost hunting, or just the turning point.
Taking this subject more seriously.
Taking it more seriously would have been because after I had my childhood scenarios, and then I had that adult scenario where I saw my friend's grandfather and grandmother and cousin. The turning point for me was when I met Tonya, because we met We met doing wellness events, actually. We both have beauty and wellness backgrounds, and we just met through a mutual friend, and we were doing an event. And we did the event at a haunted Airbnb, and none of us talked about ghost hunting. We just all felt stuff while we're in there, and no one said anything until after the event was over. And then we all started feeling stuff in the house, and then stuff went down in that house, and it was crazy. And we thought, what the heck was that? Like, I wish we videotaped all that, because that was insanity, what just happened. And from that moment on, that was 5 years ago, from that moment, we have not stopped paranormal investigating, because it unlocked so much stuff within us. As soon as we came together, it was like this powerful, magical stuff happened, and we could communicate so insanely with the other side. And we would get so, like, we just started just playing, just because we were experimenting, like, what was that? Let's try that again. Like, what was that? And it just started snowballing. So from, it's been 5 years now. That's when we met. And that was the turning point for me, because it unlocked everything from the past and it brought it forward. So, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, for you guys, the way you came together as a team, how did that happen? How did you two meet?
Well, those wellness events is when we met, and that was about 5 years ago. We didn't have any intentions on, like, Tonya grew up in haunted houses, so it was normal for her. She didn't think anything weird about haunted houses, and I hadn't really had any experiences with the paranormal, except for that stuff that happened to me, but I never really thought about it or talked about it again after those things happened. And so when we had that specific event happen at the house, that's kind of when we started learning, and I was so in awe of it. Tonya she knew so much about all these stuff, and I would just be like deer in headlights, being like, oh my goodness, like, what is going on? Tonya, teach me more. What, like, I was like, she used to call me Baby Woo, because I would be so like a little baby, like absorbing everything that I was seeing and learning.
What do you remember that moment there, Tonya, with your student Amy here, kind of trying to leech onto you and steal all your paranormal woo?
Well, it was like Amy was saying, it was completely, we were there for a wellness event. Next thing you know, I've got my dowsing rods and they're spinning and her eyes are like saucers. And she's like, what's happening? And we end up, she's on the bed up in the room that was haunted. And she's on the bed. She's like, am I going to get possessed? Like, she was freaking out. And it's like so funny, because she's a sponge, right? And I love working with people who really just soak everything up, and she just soaked it up. And I call her Master Woo now, because she's just, her gifts have just amplified like incredible in 5 years, from not even seeing didn't know what a dowsing rod was, to what she does now is just incredible. So yeah, it was fun. After that one time, we got completely, we used to say, well, we're really passionate about the paranormal, but we just say we're addicted. Like, we're lost cause when it comes to that now. We can't stop. You can't stop us.
I see that. And when you go out and you guys decided to make an investigating team, obviously you had the connection to do it, which is always good. But when you decided that you wanted to start taking this out in public and start investigating, whether it was, houses, taverns, abandoned locations, whatever it may be, what made you guys take that turn? Amy, let's start with you.
So it was due to demand of people, because we would record what we were doing, and then we would just put it on our social media, mostly for fun, to be like, look what's going on, like, this happened, so this just happened, and then people started following us to, because they thought it was exciting and fun and different. And then we started to get an influx of people saying, will you take me on a ghost hunt? I want to do that. Like, that's so exciting. Like, can we come? Like, people started wanting to come with us, and we got such an influx of that. We thought, hey, maybe we could like do like a retreat, an overnight retreat. Like, let's book a place, and like, maybe we'll charge people to help pay for it. And, maybe make a couple bucks on the side if, for our time. And so we just started kind of making events and retreats, because we thought, people were actually demanding it from us. Like, they actually were wanting to come out with us. So it kind of snowballed from there.
What kind of investigations do you like doing, Tonya?
Oh gosh, that's hard. I don't know. Like one of our favorites has got to be the Dorchester jail in New Brunswick. That's an old jail where they actually had the hangings right in the jail, and it's been decommissioned as a jail, and now it's an Airbnb. So you can actually sleep in the jail cells. Well, we say sleep very loosely because trust me, you're not sleeping.
There's no sleeping.
But that's one of our favorite places. We've been there multiple times, and you start to, when you go to the same location over and over, you really start to have connections and build relationship with certain spirits that are there. So they'll recognize you. They'll the last time we were at the Dorchester, it was like, hey, is that Tonya? One of the instruments is like, hey, is that Tonya? So they'll recognize you and they'll call you by name. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And tell us about this. What kind of ghosts are there?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first time we went to the jail, there was actually quite a bit of different things going on because the people who own it are collectors of oddities. And so they had a bunch of like military stuff. They have like a bunk bed that was used in World War II. Like there's just a lot of stuff there, shrunken heads, so think of all that energy. Plus you have the inmates that were hung there. And the major story of this particular jail is the Bannister brothers, and they were two brothers. They were the last double hanging in New Brunswick. And when we say double hanging, that means they were put back to back and hung with one rope. And so that they didn't actually die quickly. They suffered quite a bit. And so their spirits are there. We talked to Daniel quite a bit, one of the brothers that connects with us pretty much every time we're there. So yeah, there's a lot going on in that place. A lot.
When you're investigating a prison atmosphere, Amy, are the ghosts resentful for the way they live their life?
I mean, there probably is some resentment there. I'm sure there's lots of different emotions. Like we've been there multiple times, and the first time we went was a lot heavier than the second time we went because all those boxes and boxes of oddities and World War, the uniforms, they had so much stuff, and the energy changed a lot from the first time to the second time. And so we got a lot of different things happen both times. We did get in the jail, like we did have like a spirit call us like horrors. Like they weren't really nice to us. Like they weren't the kindest, we feel the boys were nice. Like they like to play with our equipment. Like they would really love the ball and the music box. They were really kind and playful. But there was some really nasty ones in there. Like they weren't nice. Like some of them weren't very nice. So, but yeah, I think there could be some resentment in there amongst that, feelings. So yeah.
When you two are connected there, are you connected on a spiritual level with these spirits that are there, or are they making themselves present to you, or do you have to go searching for them?
For me? Is that for me? Sorry. Okay. They definitely, you hear bangs and knocks and stuff. They do kind of let themselves be known. But I found they were really receptive in that jail. We had the best SD session we have ever had in any of our investigations. It was 20 minutes of pure answering our questions. Bang on. Like we would ask a question and they would answer it with a clear answer. And that was probably one of my most favorite, Estes method. They were very clearly communicating without a doubt. We have that on video. Actually, we have the whole run of that Estes session. We have that on video, and it is so clear that they are talking back to us. Like we're asking a question, they're answering. We ask a question, they answer. It was really cool. So yeah, they do make themselves known. And even if you call them out and sometimes you might not get an answer right away, like I find anytime we've ever gone out, they've always presented themselves without us having to necessarily pull them out and say hello. Like they're there, and maybe it's because we're already in tune with them. I don't know, but like we tend to get Tonya can attest to this. We get a lot of really great evidence when we're together. I'm just saying. We get a lot.
What's your favorite piece of evidence, Tonya? Because it's one thing when you are psychically reading them, but in that case, it could always be a little bit, wondering whether or not it's your imagination or if it's real communication. Outside of your own intuition, what's your best piece of evidence that you've ever caught?
Oh, there's so many. But I think probably because it was the biggest poltergeist experience, and poltergeist activity is not super common when you're investigating. Like it happens, you might see little things move, but we actually had during a group investigation at the Kentville Museum here in Nova Scotia. Amy knows what I'm going to say. We were doing an event and we had split up in groups, and Amy had half of the group downstairs. I had half of the group. We had 20, so 10 downstairs, 10 upstairs. And my little group had been working in what was called the props room, which was where all their like Christmas, Halloween, like all their decorations for different times of years in the props room. And we were communicating with a little boy named David. And we were like, he had really connected with 3 of the 10 people that were there. So we decided to break up into 2. And I left with 5 people and 5 people stayed in the props room. I go downstairs. I say to Amy, we're talking to a little boy named David. She's like, no way, we're talking to a little boy named David. So we were both communicating to a little boy named David. We're like freaking out over this fact. And we hear this bang from upstairs and screaming. And so I go up, and what had happened was as this group was leaving the props room, as the last person was just about to the door, there was a Chucky doll that was a prop inside a coffin that was in the middle of the room. That doll got thrown, what would you say, Amy, like 6-8 feet?
6 to 8 feet.
Across the room so hard that there was mannequin legs. It hit the mannequin legs, and the mannequin legs fell on top of the doll. And 5 people witnessed this. Like they were leaving, they heard the bang, they turned on the lights. Chucky dolls over from here, the middle of the room, to the corner of the room. We heard it, everybody heard it. So we're talking like 20 witnesses. So I think that's probably my favorite.
My.
It's awesome.
I love when weird stuff like that happens. We got 90 seconds before we have to go to break. Amy, what about you?
That would be my favorite one, but I really enjoy it when we trance and we like connect with spirits. And Tonya had a really profound one, and I had a similar one at the Hillsborough cemetery where we connect, with this lady in the cemetery, the white lady. And we just sort of, when we connect and we really do our trance work, that's my favorite times, because we really connect in at those, and it's very powerful when it happens.
Do you know, Amy, when things are going to happen? Like, is there a buildup in the room, whether it's energy or tension or something?
There is. And also too, when I'm about to connect with a spirit, when they are going to come deeper, I start to shake. The shake is what tips it off for me. I'm like, Tonya, I'm getting shaky. And she's like, oh, let it in. Like, let's see what's going to be. Like, as soon as I shake, I know that's my sign that something's coming near me and something wants to communicate and show something with me. And they show me lots of things through my physicality. I'll write things. I will see things. I will act out physical things that they're showing me, maybe sometimes about their death or something that happened significant. I'll see it, or I'll actually act it out. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Oh, I love a good ghost hunt. I actually run a ghost tour in my area too to raise money for the museum. And we do probably, I would say close to 500 to 1,000 people a year. And it's pretty cool. So I love a good ghost hunt. I love a good ghost tour. And I love these ladies from Soul Seekers Paranormal, Amy and Tonya. We got them for another 90 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio. We're having fun. We're going to find out the ghosts of Halifax, Nova Scotia, next on the mighty SOR. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, we are clear. We got about 4 minutes, 55 seconds to hang out and make fun of my weekend host, Rob G's red beard. So, yeah, we can make fun of that. He likes soccer, so he doesn't know who Sidney Crosby or Nathan McKinnon are.
Me either.
You're from Halifax. How do you not know?
We're busy ghost hunting. We don't have time for sports.
Sidney Crosby's entering his 20th year in the NHL.
I did a commercial with Sidney Crosby.
Were you in a Tim Hortons commercial?
It wasn't Tim Hortons. It was a Subway commercial.
Oh, the Subway one. Yes.
Yes.
Very, very cool. You know what sucks? Is right in front of me, I have an empty bag of Twizzlers.
Oh, it's empty. That's sad.
They're just taunting you. They're taunting you.
Totally taunting me right now. Totally taunting me.
Rude.
It's ridiculously rude. The worst part about it is I'm torturing myself because I put it there.
Someone just said you were an extra. I wasn't actually an extra. I wasn't paid as an extra. I had a sub in front of my, like, beside me. I had to carry like the little sub thing across or whatever, but I was, I didn't speak or whatever, but it was SOC. It's fine. I wasn't an extra.
But we are extra.
We are extra.
We're okay with that.
We're okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're okay?
Well, I mean, define okay.
Well, I mean, it is 1:30 in the morning for you.
I know, and I have to work on set in the morning.
Are you an actor? Is that what you are?
Yes.
What kind of set are you working on?
I'm working on a TV show. I host a TV show called Home Sweet Home. And we go to different restaurants and we interview the owners, and then we make the food and we sample it. We're on season 4 right now. So, yeah.
It's like a perfect job for it.
Hold on. I'm finding you right now.
Yeah.
You on
It's
YouTube?
perfect. If anybody knows Amy, her love language is food. Okay. Like, it's food. So if there's any show that was designed for this girl right here, it is this show.
Thank you. Yeah. My stage name for acting is actually Amy Kerr, AMYKERR. That's my maiden name, and all my credits would be under that for IMDb. But in my real life, like the hosting jobs, is just I go by my personal name, Amy Murphy. But
hold on, I'm looking at this on Facebook right now. Your hair color is different. The hair color is different.
For Home Sweet Home, are you looking that up?
I'm looking up right now. I just gave the page a like.
Oh, thank you.
It was the first year when you had the
477.
It was.
That was an old picture, but yeah.
Yep.
All good.
Good in the hood.
Poncho Zork. We're all farters. Oh, someone who's the farter? That's me, T-Bone.
What the hell are you
That is
talking
her.
about?
T-Bone's been watching our videos.
She gets the ghost farts. That's
T-Bone's watching our show. He's watching our videos because if he knows about the farting, he knows he's watching because that's like insider information right there.
Oh no. Oh.
You know it's getting good when Amy starts farting. That's all I'm going to say.
Now I have to watch.
You do. You'll get a kick out of us. I swear.
If you're wondering what we're talking about, that's the comment right there.
Yeah, Amy is the farter. It's a true story.
Wonderful.
He calls it channeling energy or processing energy, but it's just farting.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I can't even deny it.
I think the spirits are talking to my food. It's just think of it this way. It's just the ghosts of the food you're cooking that are coming out to speak one last time.
Girl farts are the worst. I'm reading the comments. They're so funny.
Where are the comments? I don't even.
I pulled it up on the side. If you click the comments,
if you go on the right, you'll see comments.
Oh,
they're so funny. I'm because remember that time like we were doing the Dorchester jail, and I was so beyond scared, and I just started like the most sulfuric farts. And Tonya was like, the demons. I smell a demon.
Oh my God, there's demons there.
She's like, nope, that's just Amy's farts.
Hey, Rob G, let's make sure we cut this into a short, okay? So, you know, that's entertainment right there.
Hilarious.
Oh.
That's entertainment. All right.
We don't even hide it. It's in our videos. You'll see all the farts and all the shenanigans.
I believe you. We got 17 seconds. Big thank you to T-Bone ×2 for the super chats. Really appreciate the love and support. Don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. Here we go. Here we go. Second half hour, Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and this is the mighty SOR, talking paranormal and supernatural of Halifax, Nova Scotia with Tonya and Amy. We'll get to them momentarily, but first we want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out the swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Soul Seekers Paranormal from the lovely hamlet of Halifax, Nova Scotia, where the waters are patrolled by great white sharks, and the ghosts from the ships that have blown up the city are hanging around the harbors. Tonya and Amy are here from Soul Seekers Paranormal once again. Ladies, welcome back.
Hello.
That was painting a picture right there. Did you see that? Painting a picture for the radio audience. It is awesome. Have either of you ever witnessed any of the ghost ships?
No. I've not seen that.
That is something that I would love to see. I have, I know there are people in Nova Scotia as well as Newfoundland who still claim that at certain times of the year they can see the Titanic sailing on by. And with the explosion in 100 and some years ago in Halifax, where it literally burned down the city, I'm just wondering, do you get a lot of ghostly activity around that still in a lot of the buildings?
Well, we have a hard time getting into those buildings. I'm just going to be straight up about that. We have tried for 5 years to get into like the Five Fishermen. We went there once, we got booted out. Like, we have approached multiple places, and there's not really open to us coming in there. We have been to the Titanic gravesite multiple times, and we've been chased out of there every single time.
Chased out by people or like security? Or ghosts?
No, spirits and people.
Oh, now you got to go into detail on this.
Oh, yeah. So the first time we went, we were up by the grave sites and the car was parked. And then all of a sudden we could feel spirits rush up behind us. Like, you could feel it. You could feel them rush up and like kind of peek behind your shoulder. So we were already getting kind of spooked, right? And then all of a sudden the car alarm starts going off and there's nobody around the car. So we just felt this like, get out, get out. The alarms are going off. So we listened, if Spirit's setting off the alarms to leave, we'll leave. And the last time Amy and I were there was actually a vehicle was driving around and driving behind our vehicle. They kept like going around in circles and following us. So we physically felt in danger. So we had to leave because it's nighttime. 2 girls in a graveyard, in some kind of sketchy area. So that one was scary because they were definitely stalking and trying to like trap us with their vehicles, like their vehicle in between,
right,
like our van and there. So we hightailed it out of there. We haven't been back since.
The energy has to be incredible there. And the reason why I say that is, in a different sense, in 2017, 2015, pardon me, I traveled to Massachusetts, to Provincetown, Massachusetts, where the Pilgrims landed. And there was a paranormal conference there. And just they have this like giant compass or something that's bricked into the ground, where apparently the first settlers from England actually stood on that ground in kind of a circle, wondering what to do, where to go. And the energy on that circle was so incredible. It was like instant headache, but not a bad headache, like a migraine or a painful headache. It's just, when you get that energetic headache from spirit, where you're like, this is just buzzing. Your head is like turning all around. You're moving in all directions. It was insane. Was this like that as well there?
I didn't really find, and it was a lot of energy. I remember when we were walking down the path. Do you remember how, Tonya, the weather was very calm, but then all of a sudden, only around where we were standing, it was swirling around us, and the wind and the leaves started blowing, and it was like we were in some kind of a weird vortex of energy, and it was the weirdest thing. And that's when our alarm started going off. But then when we went away from it, it was like everything was calm after. Like it was only encircling us, this crazy energy. And that was the time when, for the very, very, very first time, I saw an apparition. A woman came at me. I could only see her from head, like her waist up, and she rushed me, and it's like she flew at me and went like past me. And I was like, I just saw a lady in a dress, and she flew at me. Like, it was the coolest thing, because I always wanted to see, a ghost, at that time, like what I thought was like an actual apparition, right? Not necessarily something in my mind's eye, but something coming at me. And that was the first time I saw like an actual apparition. So that was exciting. So that place is pretty powerful.
Did any of the spirits, were they try and communicate with you? Or were they just kind of like, get the hell out of here?
They were pushing us out that night for sure. They were pushing us out because I think they knew we were in danger. I think they were trying to protect us. I don't think it was a scary thing. I think they were like, there's people circling you, like you need to get out of here. And they were pushing us out. They had the wind blowing, the trees were blowing, our car alarm was going off, and it was like chaos. But it was like, I think they were really trying to help us. So because then when we got out to the part, we noticed we were like, oh my gosh. And remember, Tonya, we saw there was a man that we saw, and wasn't he behind like a gravestone or something? There's like a man there, and we were like, oh my gosh, like they were trying to help us. Like they weren't trying to scare us. They were like, get out of here. Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
The idea that the East Coast of Canada is probably the most haunted part of Canada, because everybody who is coming from Europe, much like New York City in the United States, Halifax was that point of entry into Canada, because Newfoundland wasn't part of Canada at that point. And believe it or not, my great-grandfather, when he came over from Ukraine, came through Halifax. So, then again, probably every immigrant at that time came through there. The history that the city that you guys live in is so rich. It fed the country. It expanded the country. It built the country that we live in. And I'm just wondering, is there a lot of history there, and spirits or haunted locations that really delve into that past of 160 plus years ago? Tonya, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say the Halifax Club. That's what I was thinking. So the Halifax Club, it was like a gentleman's club back in the day. And there's actually tunnels that will lead right to the waterfront. And so they used to sneak in like alcohol and prostitutes in through these tunnels. And so we were in there, what was that, about 4 to 5 months ago, investigating. And we only had 3 hours. That's all we had. And it was just like so much activity here and there and everywhere. They called my name twice. Like the prostitutes were actually connecting with us, like trying to talk to us. There was male energy, like voices coming through. Like there was a lot of activity. Orbs, we caught some really crazy orbs during that filming. So the Halifax Club would be what I would say from my part was the most active as far as like historical, right? Like as an historical building with all this history, that would be the most memorable, I would say.
There are a lot of tunnels around Halifax, and of course, some of the more famous were the ones that helped slaves escape the United States and gain freedom in Canada. Have you ever had a chance to investigate near those areas to see what the energy was like?
Like in the tunnels?
Yeah.
Well, we could get down into at the Halifax Club. The tunnel is there. Like it's the entrance to the tunnel, and we actually went down in the tunnel, and as far back as you could get before it's blocked off, we went in the tunnel. Yeah.
How haunted was that? I'll tell you, I don't do tunnels. I don't do caves. I don't do tunnels.
Yeah.
Unless I'm driving.
We love caves. We love tunnels.
Well, you can have the caves and the tunnels that just end. I don't mind a tunnel that I could see through. Okay, but
Yeah.
in my area, you go into a cave or a tunnel, there's usually a Bigfoot or a mountain lion or a grizzly bear.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
How haunted were these tunnels?
Well, that's where, down in that tunnel, that's where the prostitute called out Tonya's name. She was like, Tonya, hey Tonya. It's like they're long lost friends or something. Hey Tonya.
Did you capture that on recording?
Sure do. It's on our we have it up there. It's on our YouTube. It's on the Halifax Club with the Halifax Pint.
Nice.
Yep. So it was like, hi Tonya. Like, what? Anyways, that was good. We had dead bell. Like I love our dead bell, and it goes off, and the dead bell was going bananas down there. It was really active in the basement. We're going back in October, just saying.
I have a dead bell too, and the only one that's rang it is me.
Really?
Really? Ours goes off
all
the time. It's one of our favorite ones. It's like amazing. We love it.
We had the dead bell in a totally different room in the Halifax Club. We're way at the back, and we were filming in this room, and we could all hear it going off in another room where nobody was around.
How high did you turn it up?
I usually like to turn it halfway. I don't want it all the way down, but I don't want it all the way up. I kind of just put it midway. I like to kind of do it mid. And just because I'm OCD, and so I kind of feel like I have to put it like in the middle. It's just a weird thing I do. So I just set it at mid-range and let it rip.
You should see all the knobs on my mixing board for this show to get it out to our radio stations. They are all perfectly even.
You're my type of person, because I would want them all to be probably up with the little lines, probably all the same way, or I wouldn't be able to, if they were all, the lines were different, it would drive me crazy.
Yeah. No, they are all, there's 4 rows, and all the rows are absolutely even. It's crazy.
I get you.
Drives me absolutely nuts. No, one of my favorite pieces of equipment that I use on my ghost tour is the ghosts around my area love the cat balls.
I have a cat ball with me right now. Where's my cat ball?
Yeah. We have a Clydesdale barn. We have a Clydesdale barn. Yeah, way to bring out the cat ball that doesn't work. But we have a Clydesdale barn that actually still has Clydesdale ghosts in it. And this barn is probably 60 yards long, maybe 70 yards long. It's an old log A-frame building, and we lay down the cat balls, and we lay down my I have one of those 16-foot light strings, that are all purple.
Oh yeah.
I got one of those, and I'll tell you, when that thing goes off, the people on my tour just yelp at excitement.
I love the cat ball because it's tiny. You can bring anywhere with you, and it helps you get the validation. Like, I know what I feel and what I sense. Like, I know I get that. But when I have something like a tool with me, it just gives me extra validation. So, sometimes the cat ball is the easiest thing to bring. I bring it everywhere with me. It's always with me.
What's the weirdest ghost you've ever dealt with on one of your tours? Strangest one that you would think.
So we do tours, and we also do private investigations on our own as well. So on a tour, I don't know if we had anything weird. What do we have weird on like an event?
Like cats, dogs.
Oh, do you remember when are you gonna know what I'm gonna talk about? Like many years back when it was like we had a group of friends of us investigating, and we had chickens and turkeys, and we were crossing a whole farm over the rain. Yeah, we had a whole like barnyard of animals that were on the other side.
Well, it was weird because we were like, why do I smell turkey dinner?
We all smelled turkey dinner.
Like, why like all of a sudden a woof of like turkey dinner? And then this turkey steps forward, kind of like, hey, like, I'm still here. Do you want to cross me over? Yeah. So things like that.
Yeah, that happens.
In one of our rooms in the main house, we actually have a bear rug, a black bear rug, and the bear is still in the room.
The rug?
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a ghost. In that room, we have a ghost bear, a ghost cat, and a little girl who's about 7 years old.
Wow.
And the ghost bear loves it when you put the K2 meters on its head. He'll start just sending them right to red.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting when you find out what is actually there and how it is. Do you find though that there are, when you are doing let's just stick with your tours for a minute here. Okay. When you are doing a tour at one of your locations, do you find that weather plays a part in how active a place is, or are they just all permanently active, Tonya?
Like I totally do believe that like weather definitely impacts things, especially like if there's like a thunderstorm and there's all that electricity, it definitely amplifies the energy of the space. We haven't had a lot of like strange weather happen while Amy and I joke that if it's supposed to storm or rain, we'll like use our witchy powers to like push the clouds away. And so really we haven't had a lot of weird weather when we're investigating. It's been pretty calm most of the time, but I do 100% believe, like in my own personal experience with, living in haunted houses, that the weather definitely plays a role at certain times of year too. Definitely shifts things.
What about in the snow?
The snow. Soul Seekers Paranormal.
That doesn't stop us. We went ghost hunting and been thigh high walking through, like deep up to our thighs, trudging through to get to a haunted church. We're unstoppable.
What were you able to find?
We found lots in that church, actually. That church is very, very active. Yeah, priests in there, and we saw nuns in the windows, or not nuns, but a nun looking out the window. We caught her on camera. We have a picture, her reflection it was like we caught her reflecting back to us. So she would have been looking out the window, and it was her reflection coming into the, you know what I mean? Like if you're looking out the window, your reflection comes backwards to the camera. So we caught her looking out, and we got it on camera. That was really cool. Yeah, that was really cool. But now, yeah,
when you're getting evidence like that, where you're getting photographic evidence, how do you analyze it to make sure it isn't some sort of pareidolia?
What's a paranoia?
Pareidolia, where you think you see a human face, but it's really the shape the leaves of the tree are on, or the blanket is moving, or whatever it may be.
Oh, right. Like, okay. Tonya is the one that really looks over our evidence. She really is the evidence looker. You can answer that one, Tonya.
Yeah, we don't really we just present here's what we found. We think this is maybe what it is. And so it's really up to the viewer whether they want to accept that as evidence or not. And for some people, it doesn't matter what you show them, they will not accept it. For other people, they'll believe everything, right? So that's really how when we do our videos, our YouTubes and, our TikToks and stuff, it's more of here's what we caught. And I think it's a nun, or I think it's this. And, let the audience decide whether it is or not in their own mind, right? So we're not really here to prove or disprove. We're just here to have these experiences, share it with people, and then they can take from it what they want, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great attitude to have, because realistically, you're not trying to push someone's opinion to equal yours. And
Right.
I think in the paranormal supernatural world, we get a lot of that. I was talking about that with our guests on the show last night, Preston and Dolly, where in the UFO world, there's a lot of people trying to press their opinion as fact. What you're doing, if I got this correctly, is you are going to a location, you're filming it, you're putting the evidence up. What do you guys think? What do you see here? You're allowing your audience to make that decision and that determination of what they've seen. You guys are staying neutral, kind of like referees.
Yeah, we are very authentic. We pride ourselves on, we just use our phones. We film on our phones and we edit the clips, to the best parts, and we share our story, and we don't change anything. We don't jimmy anything up. We don't edit anything. We just literally string the stuff together and make it look nice for people. But we aren't in it to kind of try to overprove something or prove a point or change people's views. We present it as we authentically, we're really hyper and fun and all this stuff, and we just show ourselves in our videos, because we like to bring people on our journey as it happens, and this is how it happens, farts and all, right? And so we like to share everything truly and authentically, and we'll share from our view of what we think we saw and how it went down and what happened, and it's all real and authentic. And so if someone has a different opinion, that's cool. That's what they see. They might see something different or feel something different, but we're not there to be like, no, it wasn't that. It was definitely this. That's not what we're about. Here's our story. This is what happened as we captured it, and this is what we got. And we hope you love it. And if you love it, cool. And if you don't, that's cool too. We just love sharing it. And yeah, we just have a passion for doing it and capturing it and sharing it. And we're not out there to, get clickbait or likes and views or oohs and ahs and all the stuff. We're just like, here we are. We're having fun. Come with us.
And I was just going to say that, Amy, the one thing that I've learned in the almost 90 minutes or 1 hour that we've been talking here, you guys take this seriously, but you don't take it too seriously. You're there to have a good time, to show people that this is this is a phenomenon that's real, and this is what it's about. Here you go. This is what we found. You tell us what you think. I mean, how does it get any better than that, considering that how ugly this whole field can be at times with competition and, like you said, clickbait, YouTube channels. Everybody's got a television show pilot going. You guys are just having fun. And it's just that simple, isn't it?
It's just that simple. And yeah, we just like to keep it real. We literally like to keep it real and authentic. And Tonya always says, this is something we say, we take the work seriously. We are very passionate about what we do. And we're very, very serious and passionate about finding real evidence and, providing that for people when we get the stuff and the stories and the fun experiences. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. We have a good time. We're not claiming to be professional experts at anything. We love what we do. We're passionate. We research and we enjoy, and we have all the tools and we have all the things. We're here where we are at, and we don't claim to be anything but who we are, and we're having a good time, and we love what we're doing. We're very passionate about it, and we're very serious about it, but we have the best time doing it.
I think that's great. Ladies, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. We're through hour number 1 of Spaced Out Radio as we're talking ghosts and paranormal around Halifax, Nova Scotia, with Soul Seekers Paranormal team of Amy and Tonya. And we are having a great time. I hope you are too. We're going to find out more about their favorite hauntings and their favorite ghost stories, and maybe some audience questions when we return on the Mighty SOR. Stay tuned.
This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott.
All right. We are clear. Ladies, we got about a 6-minute break. I'm just going to take a quick break. I'm going to put you both back in the green room, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, I am back. Chill out. I'm back. Sweet Robbie G, stop hanging from the curtain rods if you don't mind. Let's bring the ladies back. Amy, Tonya. We got about a minute to go here. My allergies are horrible. Hi, Daniela. Welcome to SOR chat again. Major Lee, good morning to you. Mel WD40, how's the lube? Give us an update. Oh, let's see here. Big thank you tonight to Poncho and T-Bone times 2. Oh, sweets, you make me laugh. Yep, I'm on one tonight. I had my allergies, Vicks inhaler, nothing illegal. Just letting you know. Tim is at home tonight. He'll be broadcasting the UFO report from his house. So, 10 seconds. Don't forget to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store on our website. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Here we go. Here comes the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. We're getting all paranormal with Soul Seekers Paranormal. And it's a great show so far. If you missed part of it, you're going to want to check the archives, which are free. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Faculative. Faculative is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. We have Amy. We have Tonya. They are the Soul Seekers Paranormal, based out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, and these ladies are chasing ghosts down, man. Yeah, they are like female wrestlers inside a cage match when it comes to serving ghosts their time and their dedication to the afterlife. Ladies, welcome back. Very much appreciate you.
Hello.
Hello, Amy. Hello, Tonya. All right. I have a quick question from T-Bone in our chat room. Have you ever investigated Shag Harbor?
No, but we talked about wanting to go down there. That was a place that was on our to-go list, but we never got there yet.
How do you think you would feel if all of a sudden you picked up spirits of aliens at Shag Harbor?
That would be an interesting one to channel or to do trance mediumship, wouldn't that, Tonya?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. Like, could you actually channel or connect with like a spirit of an alien? I actually never thought of that.
You got to try it.
That's
we have actually, in one of our buildings in 2018, caught a photo of a 5.5, 6 foot tall alien.
Really?
Standing in a doorway. Big gray eyes. You could see the shape of the almond-shaped head. It was weird. And, Shag Harbor, for people who don't know, in 1967, had a UFO crash in the harbor there. And I've always wondered whether or not there is still debris there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wanted to go there, but we didn't make it there yet. We'll have to put it on our to-do list. Hey, Tonya?
Yeah, put it back on the to-do list. Because, that's an interesting topic because it's like, is it aliens or is it like interdimensional beings or are they the same thing? Like, that's some good questions.
Have you ever had situations while you've been doing paranormal investigation where you've had other things from other realms cross over? Like maybe gnomes or Bigfoot or fairies or sprites? Tonya, I see you nodding your head there. Tell us about it.
Oh yeah, it happens. I connect a lot with, like, I call them the telluric beings, like things like that are in the forest, little creatures, little beings. I connect with them quite a bit. Fairies for sure. We've had quite a few instances with fairies. So we always keep some candy or sugar or something that we give them offerings, because they will mess with your stuff. They'll hide your stuff. I mean, they will mess with you. And so you don't want to be on their bad side. So we do give them offerings, and we'll give offerings when we go into the woods and stuff like that.
Do you remember that time we gave them the gum and then it disappeared? They took it. It was like we took a piece of gum and we put it right there in front of us, and it was like it just went into like the abyss. It was so weird.
Yeah.
You have to tell us this story. What happened there?
Go ahead, Tonya.
Well, we were it was in nighttime, dark, it's kind of like still wintry weather, and we were investigating these woods that people have heard, like potentially Sasquatch, like the knocking and stuff, like they had some experiences in the woods. So we, of course, let's go check it out. So we go there, and there we were catching stuff on the SLS, which is like draws the stick figures, and you could see these little figures being mapped out in the trees. And I was like, oh, that's the fairies. We got to give them something. So we had nothing with us, and all we had is gum. So we put a piece of gum on like a little branch where we were mapping the little stick figures out, and the gum was there. And then we literally turned our head, and the gum was gone. And we looked everywhere, so it just disappeared basically. I felt bad. All we had was gum, but so yeah,
Better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
Apparently, they liked it.
They must have.
We had, I will tell you this, we were in an area where in 2020, we had an area we were investigating for Bigfoot. And a friend of mine, Mark, his daughter put an old 1965 nickel on a rotted out log that was on the ground. We would go back a week later, and the nickel is gone. Which is not surprising. Crows, ravens, pack rats, whatever else thinks so. Hey, there's something shiny. Let's check that out. They take it. But the weird part about it is, at our gifting site a week later, a 2019 nickel was sitting on top of one of the toys that was hooked into the tree. And a lot of people will say, well, how do you know it wasn't a human who did that or whatever? It's way too coincidental that a nickel was traded for a nickel. And 65 nickel was traded for a 2019 nickel, wherever that nickel came from. That nickel, by the way, is gone again. It is gone. We put it back in the tree, and it's been taken. So I don't know what took it. But I find that very, very ironic.
Yeah.
That would happen. So do you think that there are certain objects out there, Tonya, that we have that they use as maybe friendly trade to kind of make communication?
I would say crystals. Like, it happens all the time. Like, I wear a lot of crystals, I carry a lot of crystals, like Amy does too. And they'll like literally just disappear and reappear. Like, I've had a crystal actually be in the bathroom with me. And as I was in the bathroom, my friend out in the living room found that exact crystal in her pocket. So it literally went from the bathroom, me looking at it, to her pocket. So they love to mess with the crystals. They'll take them and then they'll bring them back. So for me, it's definitely the crystals.
Well, we had an incident where we were in the car at an investigation. It was just after we investigated. You know what I'm going to say. So we were investigating this house, and it was scary, and we bolted out of there. And after all this stuff went down, anyways, on our way in the car, out of nowhere, this lightning strikes and hits our car. And the whole car lit up like, but nothing was lit on fire. There was no damage, no nothing. But it was like this strike of light came down like lightning and went, and like Tonya out of nowhere, our protector mama, she had a Moldavite ring on, and she does this motion. She goes like to the, like she puts her hand like some superhero, and she just puts her hand up like this, like into the car, like as this happens. And then all of a sudden she realizes the Moldavite was disappeared out of her ring, gone, nowhere to be found. And Tonya, what was it that, oh, she lost, and then you lost your other ring, or you lost a crystal. And then we get back to the house and it was on the shelf. Remember, I went to a trance, you were making food, and I disappeared. And you're like, where'd you go? Because like I felt like I was still there, and you were talking to me, and I was talking back to her, but I wasn't there. I went somewhere. I don't know where I went. But when I came,
you literally disappeared.
I didn't disappear, but I went, like, she looked at me and I was like blank because I went somewhere. But as soon as I stood up from wherever I went in my brain, I stood up and I walked over to the sink and I said, here it is. And I brought it back to her. It was like the thing, like the ring that she lost in the car, like it disappeared from she had it on in the car and we couldn't find it. And then I go into some trance and I walk over to the sink. I pick it up and I bring it back. I go, here you go. And I put it in her hand. She's like, what the fuck is happening?
I wear a lot of rings, right? So the Moldavite I had when this incident happened, it cracked my moonstone. It cracked it in half. And the Moldavite came right out of the setting of the ring at that exact same time. And then I had lost a ring earlier. And that's when Amy tranced out and found the ring on the windowsill. Like, it was just a very weird night. But we were at this like shamanic, we were doing this major like deep healing, doing Celtic shamanism, like deep spiritual stuff. So we were already in this like super heightened state already. So, you know, when you're in that state and you're so connected with spirit during that time, you know, obviously things are going to be amped up and you're going to have more paranormal experiences.
He's like silent. He's just staring, like processing.
I am processing. Amy, when you were in that trance, did you know that you were really not physically there? No,
because it was literally, it was like in my world, it was like 2 seconds. But Tonya was like, apparently she was we were talking about like the whole recipe because she had just poured the eggs. And she had two trays of eggs that she was pouring. And I went somewhere for as long as the time was because I was confused because she just started pouring. Remember, you started pouring the tray of eggs and then all of a sudden you were on a second tray of eggs. But I was like, how did you do that so fast? You just started pouring the eggs. And you're like, what are you talking about? We've been talking this whole time. I've been pouring because she was putting them on the little cups, like the egg in the cupcake container, like, you know, the cupcake containers or a tray. When there's 12 cupcake holes, and she was filling them all up with all the batter. And it was like when I started, before I tranced, she was just starting to she was putting the ingredients in the bowl. And then all of a sudden she was done pouring them. And I went, how did you pour them that fast? And she looked at me like, what are you talking about? We were talking this whole time. And while she was and I was like, I was not there. I don't know where I went. It was just, but to me, it was like a blink. I just blinked. I thought I just blinked, but apparently I didn't because I went somewhere. And then I went and got her ring. I was like, here's your ring. What was happening? Yeah, it was a really weird night.
It was a weird night.
Amy, what do you think took you there?
Something from above, I guess. Something. I don't know. It was a deep shamanic, you know, weekend, and we were doing some deep work. So I don't know, but it was so weird how it all happened. And the trance, when I stood up, it was like I stood up in this trance-like state, and I just walked over because it was like we were having a conversation about the food and stuff. Apparently, I don't even remember having this conversation, but there was some kind of conversation happening, and I just in mid conversation stand up, walk, here it is, and give it back to her, and I snap out of it. It was like, we don't know.
We don't know. We can't explain
We
this.
don't know.
Do you think then that a spirit took over your body to continue that conversation with Tonya? Or do you think subconsciously you were having that conversation with Tonya, but in reality, you were somewhere else?
I think maybe the first one, because knowing the things that I do, like spirits will, come into me and do things. Like they'll, I don't know. What do you think, Tonya? What's your theory?
Well, because it was my parents are deceased, and it was my the family ring that was missing, which is very, very, very important to me. I personally think it was my dad because he's around sometimes. So I think it was my dad using Amy to find my ring. That's what I think. That's my theory.
We'll go with that one.
Which one of you saw the puck wedgie?
Oh, we were both there. We both heard them in our ears. We heard them snorting. We heard them.
Start there. Tell our audience what a puck wedgie is, Amy.
Oh gosh, Tonya, you do that one.
I'm more of like the history.
She's the history. Don't ask me anything about history. I can't recall anything. You talk to Tonya.
So this is I think it is North America's most haunted forest. What was it, Amy? Free State? No. Free State?
Freetown State Forest.
Yes.
That's the Blackwater Triangle, correct?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So we didn't know much about what that was. We just knew that there was this was a super haunted. We heard all these there was murders and strange things that happened there, but we didn't know much about the pugwatchies until later, because we have this habit of finding people along our journey, random people, and then inviting them to go ghost hunting. And so we had been at the Lizzie Borden house investigating, and we met this young girl that we just took her under our wing, and then we invited her to the forest the next day, and she came, surprisingly. So
she gets in a white van, comes in the forest.
So she had done independent research, and so she had actually talked about these pugwatchies, I don't know how to say them, but they're these little creatures, and they're from Native American folklore. So they're these little creatures that they kind of you think Lord of the Rings, they kind of look like the little creatures on there. They've got claws and long teeth and little things out of there, kind of mix of half humanoid, half animal. And they get into your head. And that's that whole episode, because it's on our YouTube, it's so hard to explain to the audience, because we didn't have we didn't catch anything on film, or we did we had activity with the REM pod and stuff like that, but it was what was happening in our minds. They'll get into your head, and so they will actually tell you to jump off the ledge. There's this ledge, Proctor's Ledge, I think it's called. No, what's the ledge called? Anyway, this ledge that people have been known to just jump off of randomly. And we all had that sensation when we were in there. And it wasn't oh, I'm really sad, I just want to, end things. It's not like that. It was why don't you just jump? They'd just get into your head and oh, I wonder what it'd feel like to just back up and run and jump off the cliff. I wonder what that'd be like. They get into your head. And so as far as physical manifestations of that, we were hearing a snorting sound, pig sounds almost. We kept feeling things rush us from behind and come up from the side in the woods. But it was more just the mind games that they play with you. They get into your head and make you do things that are not good. And we all had that sensation.
I haven't been around puckwudgies. I've been around some other strange things. What do they sound like, and how close did you get to them, Amy?
Well, if what we heard, I would think those snorting sounds we heard, and it was clear as day. We all heard them. they were like, like, I don't know, they're like snorts. It was like pigs or something, a weird snorting sound, but we all heard them. Like, and it was like, for me, I heard it like it was in my ear, like behind me. It felt like it was like, I was like, oh, like I heard it right here. And, you know, others were hearing it like in the woods beside them. Yeah. So they were really close to us. Like they were close. And I can tell you, I remember thinking, I was standing by the ledge, and all I thought was, well, what I was thinking was like, oh, you can just take one step closer. You'll be fine. Just take another step closer. You won't fall off. Like, no, go ahead. Like, take another step. Like the inner talk, right? Like, is like normal inner talk would be like, don't go near the ledge. You'll fall off. Right. That's what a normal person would think. But in that area, in the energy, it was like, well, just take one step closer. Just one step closer. Just edge up to the edge. See how close you can get to the edge. See how close you can get. See how close you can get. That's what was starting to go in our heads. Like, go closer, go closer, go closer. And all of a sudden we're like closer. So we had buddies with us because we had a buddy system. Everyone had to watch the other person, because if anyone was edging too close, we could keep our eye on each other, because like our friend was almost going to like run and jump, and we were like, we had to like hold her. So it was like, yeah, it was really weird. It was a really weird, powerful energy. And it's not like we were making it up or trying to, follow along with what we think happens, but it did happen, and it was really weird.
How did it make you feel inside? Because you're so used to dealing with ghosts. How did you, Tonya, feel about being around something different?
Well, they completely drained our energy. Like, it was like somebody pulled the plug on every one of us. Like, we just felt our energy just drop. And it was hard because you had to hike in and hike back. And we were just like headache, like you're talking about that, like energy headache. This was like a severe energy headache, made us nauseous and just absolutely, utterly exhausted. Like, I can't even explain. Honestly, it felt like somebody just zapped every single one of us after we were on that ledge. And so that was the biggest part of the biggest thing that I didn't enjoy that, because when somebody can take that much energy, because I work with energy, like I do this, like I do healing work and Reiki, I do all this, I work with energy. That's my day job, I guess you could say. So I'm very good about keeping my field very clear and very solid. So for something to be able to like penetrate that and just like drain me, that's something really powerful. And it wasn't fun. I didn't like it.
Not bad. Now, do you deal with a lot of cryptids? Is this something that is out of the ordinary for what you guys do when you get into those situations?
Yeah, we don't get a lot of them. But that being said, we don't put ourselves in a position to be exposed to them a lot, because we're usually like at houses or restaurants or like places like that, buildings. So then other than like the fae, the little fairy folk, we don't really get a whole lot of that. We went into the forest though, and we definitely experienced that. So I'm sure if we put ourselves in that situation, those things would present themselves. That's
right.
What I think. Yeah.
Right. I love it. We got about 45 seconds before we have to go to break. Amy, for you, do you look at it as a combination of paranormal, supernatural when you are all of a sudden dealing with a cryptid you don't know? Or do you look at it as a completely different type of investigation?
I don't really label it. I feel like it's not like we're doing a paranormal investigation and then, we came across this, now we're switching it to this label. To me, it's just, what are we connecting with? Like, what's happening? Who is this? And then we figure out what's going on. And knowing the history and folklore can help kind of, navigate and determine what it is. Like, we knew the history of the Freetown State Forest, and we knew those kind of things would be there. So when we heard things and encountered them, we're like, okay, this is what we're encountering. Yeah. That
thought right there, ladies. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We have Amy and Tonya for 30 minutes on Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Okay, perfect. 30 more minutes to go. 30.
It's going fast.
Told ya.
It's 2:30 a.m. here.
We're 90 minutes in and Amy hasn't been flatulent once.
How do you know? SBDs could have been up in her.
Oh, man.
You don't ask, you don't get.
Oh, it's a good time. Let me tell you.
It's a good time.
That's why we're the feel-good paranormal investigators.
Feels good. He's like speechless right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Everything's fine.
Maybe my audience could remember because I don't, but I did have a guest a couple of months ago. He was trying to bury his farts in a chair and like you could hear them. Right? Do you got audience? Do you remember who that was?
Maybe mustn't be channeling energy because she would be 100% letting her rip if she was actually connecting with spirits. That's when we know it's getting good. You're like, oh yeah.
Oh, and always after I finish channeling energy, like or connecting with something, I always loud burp. Always after when I'm like connecting and the stuff is like I'm burping, I burp and the energy. I'm like just processing energy. It's like I'm burping.
No, it's not always sexy. Not.
Hey, it's a dirty job, but someone's gonna do it. I'll take one for the team. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's totally fine. Yep.
It's fine.
Are we boring you?
Do you like not know what to think of us right now?
No, you know what? To be blunt, I have two jobs. I have my daytime job, and I work literally about 14 to 16 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. So around Fridays, I am like exhausted, and yes, I am definitely. Rob G says it's best here. Dave is definitely a fart guy. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're speaking your language.
Well, you are. I'm not.
Well, I am.
Oh, yeah. Hey, anytime you get to lean over and rip one, why not?
Oh, tell me about it. Nothing better.
A little bit of garlic on the steak. Oh, just
a little extra stank to it. All good.
You got that right.
I'm just like, what did you eat? You need some digestive enzymes. How about some probiotics?
I know she's a naturopath, so like she'll start diagnosing me like
according to the smell. Ooh.
According to the smell. Oh, you need this. Go take one of these supplements.
You're eating too much protein.
Oh dear.
Bombshell Bomber, aren't you from Nova Scotia too? In our chat room. We got about
there's I think a haunted forest up where we're going next month in New York. We should maybe see if we can encounter some things.
Oh yeah, we're doing a really big trip to the Hinsdale house in October. We're taking a road trip and we're stopping at multiple locations along the way, and we're going to be going live the whole time. We're going to live, not the whole time, but we're going to live video like the whole journey.
I want to come.
Yeah. It's going to be good. The Hinsdale house is going to be off the chain. I actually feel like I won't even be farting. I will be pooping. Like it will be full on. Like I will need to bring Depends. I will poop my pants. I need to bring my Depends and baby wipes because it's going to go down in there.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
Tonya does too.
What do I do?
I'm just kidding. You love it.
I do love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
It's raw and real, man. We're not. Yeah.
We are raw to a fault.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Tonya put a clip up. There was one time we were just like, we were in the car and I don't know. I think I have ADHD. I think I've self-diagnosed. Tanya's diagnosed me. It's fine. And I just started like going, like some weird thing in the car. And then I'm like, I love that there's no judgment, between us. Like we're best friends and there's no judgment. And Tonya was like, yeah, none at all.
All right, ladies, hold on right there. We're coming back in like 14 seconds. T-Bone with a hat trick of super chats tonight. Poncho as well. Thank you for the love and support. And we're going to make this next half hour a good one. Get ready to shit your pants, people. Here we go. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, I want to remind everybody that if you missed portions of this show or others, make sure you check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on any major podcast network as well. Our archives are always free. Why are they free? Because I demand that they are free for you. Nobody's paying for our archives. Keep your money in your pocket. Go shop at our store if you want to spend some. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Till the top of the hour, we have Amy, we have Tonya from Soul Seekers Paranormal. I forgot to ask you, ladies, right off the bat, are you just a two-member team, or do you have other members as well?
Well, we started what we do, and I mean, back when we first started, there was a group of us that all dropped off, and we were the two that remained. Yeah. And then we bring friends in, we bring friends and we meet friends. So we love to collaborate with people. We, if people want to collaborate with us, we do that with other paranormal teams or just people. Like a lot of people reach out to us and be like, will you take me on a paranormal investigation? Like, I really want to try that. And, people reach out. So we're always open to, meeting new people, and we love it's different when you could go to the same location and go with different people, and it will be different every time. So we always enjoy different dynamics, but we are the two core members of our team.
When you ladies choose a location, how do you do that? Because for a lot of people, a lot of teams out there, pardon me, they end up going to usually haunted locations, but you also deal in activities in people's homes as well. Tonya, let's start with you on this one. When you start dealing with ghosts in someone's home, that's when it gets personal. How do you deal with that?
So we actually really prefer those types of locations, like restaurants, and not like the ones that everybody talks about, but like obscure ones, right? Like knows the waitress, and the waitress is like, oh, there's activity here. So then we'll go and investigate, and we have the best investigation with the most activity, right? Because nobody's been there. We're the first ones to investigate it, and the spirits are so excited to actually talk to somebody. So for us, those types of locations are amazing. So when we're doing it for the people, they know, and usually it's well, I shouldn't say usually, but oftentimes it can be their grandma or the guardian of the house, that's they're protecting them. And so we don't come across a lot of malevolent stuff. We really don't. It's just usually people still kicking around, doing their thing. And as long as the people are comfortable with it, we don't really go in there and muck around too much. We just communicate it to the homeowners, see what they want to do. And a lot of times they don't really want us to do anything. They're happy with the spirits that are there. They built relationships with the spirits that are there. So we just go in and we a lot of times we're just confirming what they know already or what they suspect already.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned in the first half hour of the show, Tonya, about dealing with poltergeists.
Right.
What's that like?
Well, it doesn't happen a whole lot because it takes a lot of energy to actually move something, like for the spirits to actually move something. When that happens, like for us as investigators, that's the cherry on top of that sundae. Like that is just incredible when we get that type of evidence. And usually when it gets to that point where they're moving stuff, it's because you haven't been listening. You know, like they're trying to communicate with you. They're trying to get stuff across, but they're not getting through. So it's almost like an act of frustration sometimes, of just like they spend that energy to move that thing. And usually by that point, they've kind of pissed off. That's what I find, is by the time they're at the point to actually physically move things, they're not very happy with you because you haven't been listening, or they can't get their point across. If that makes sense.
Why do you think a poltergeist would want to start moving things or trying to grab someone's attention? And I know you just explained that a little bit just a second ago with that question, but there are ones out there that really know their power. I had a friend of mine who literally had one of his children's toys bleed on his wall.
That's not nice.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It was a Batman figurine, like a foot tall Batman figurine.
I would actually be scared of that.
Yes.
I'm probably the most scaredy cattest ghost hunter out there.
Yeah.
I love it so much and I'm so passionate about it, but I'm always in the middle. If we're all walking in a row, I'll sandwich myself in the middle of everybody and probably fart on everybody. But anyways, it's fine. Everything's fine. I sandwich myself in the middle. And then if we're like sleeping somewhere, I put myself in the middle and I just like, I run. I'm really scared to go to Hinsdale House. I'm really scared. I'm just not gonna lie.
Yeah, we don't come across like too much of that type of that's why we call ourselves Feel Good, because we really go into a lot of spaces with laughter and like really like expanding that positive energy or that love energy within our field. So that's generally more of what we attract. But when things are moving like that, like that's not something that's human. That's something else. And I have dealt with those before in my personal life, like not with Amy and I investigating, but like with my personal life. And they, like how we feed off of positive things and love, they feed off of fear and negativity. So when they're doing these things, it's to elicit fear. So we've had to do things like really establish your own personal authority and cleanse the room and be very adamant, you're not allowed here, get out, right? Like you have to kick them out of you got to kick them out of your house, and you have to mean it. You have to mean it, because they'll know if you don't.
Do you cross over a lot of spirits, Tonya?
We don't do a lot of that. Just because my working philosophy, and Amy, I think like you would agree with this because we've talked about this, is like they have the power to cross themselves over in reality. Like that, they do. They're there because they choose to be there. The odd time when, say, they don't know they're dead, that's when oftentimes we get the opportunity to cross them over, because sometimes they don't even know they're dead. So once you've established, you're dead, they're like, no, they don't know they're even dead. So then actually, you've passed. Would you like to move on? Those ones are pretty easy to cross over. The ones that know they're gone and are repeating something or trying to communicate, or they just want to stay there. A lot of times they want to stay there because they want to make sure their loved ones are okay. So then for me, it's like, I don't feel I have the right to go in there and kick somebody's loved one out of their house or their workspace or whatever, because their loved one is there for a reason, because the people that are still here still are suffering, still are in pain about it, still, are mourning. And so those spirits just kind of like want to stay around and make sure mom or sister or whoever is okay before they pass. So for me, I don't think I have the right to go in there and remove their loved one, right? So we don't do a lot of that for that reason.
I don't blame you. I mean, there's a place in Merritt, British Columbia called the Bailey House. And they actually didn't know how this marking got there, but a number of years ago, on the stairway going up, the wall facing what you're looking at going up had a chalk drawing on it of an angel above and a devil below. And it had a statement on there. And I forget what that statement said, but they actually had a team of ghost hunters come in there, investigated it for 2 nights, and on the second night, they painted over it because they felt they had to get rid of the demonic spirits that were in the museum. They did not ask anybody at the museum. They did not ask permission from the spirits. They just went and did it on their own cognizance. And they're now banned from the location. We will not allow that team to come to our museum location either. Even though they're 4 hours away, I know they have tried in the past. These places are so sacred, to the spirits that are there, to the history of the land and everything. How do you make sure when you're doing tours or you're taking people out on a ghost investigation, how do you tell them to respect what is there?
We always up front, we have a little, like before our events, we always do a debriefing. We show them like our equipment and we tell them what we're about and what our events are about and our philosophy. Like we make sure everyone understands. We always respect, no one's going to be calling anything out and no one's going to be taunting and tormenting any spirits and no disrespecting. Like pretty much we like to say, like, as if you were meeting a human person in real life and how you would talk to that person, that's how we expect that we're going to talk to the spirits. Like we're very clear about that and we're very serious when we start our investigations. Like we have a little kind of serious moment and then we go have fun. But, like we make sure that people know we're not about that. If you're going to look for something bad and you're going to be mean and disrespectful, then, you can go right now. Like, I'll give you your money back. You can leave. Like, we're not about that. And everybody has been super respectful. We have the best groups of people that come through our events and people have so much fun. And we always get good evidence, and, like very rarely anything like bad or malevolent comes through usually. It's been pretty good for the most part. We've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, we do that too. We don't allow provoking, but the only thing we do is when we've had to remove people from our tour, we make sure that they understand that you don't get your money back.
Well, true.
If you're going to screw up, that's on you. Has nothing to do with the museum. And you signed a waiver.
Yeah,
that's true.
The waiver is so important. So, how do we know, Tonya, if the ghosts are really dead or not? How do we know that it's just not a different dimension?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, and it very well could be, right? Like, what is dead? Like, like energy, does that die? Like those are questions those are the questions that really drive us to do this, is like, we want to know. We want to know, like, first of all, when we go into an investigation, like you're sensing the energy and you're sensing, is this an intelligent spirit or is this like an imprint? So sometimes it's just somebody imprinting and they're not intelligent. It's just the energy that's there that's been imprinted with whatever's happened. And so you have to like sort through that, like by communicating, like you're sensing something, it's setting the equipment off. But then when you're talking to them, there's nothing. There's just a pattern of the equipment going off or whatever. There's no communication. So that's like imprints or just the energy. We try to get to connect with spirits that actually want to communicate with us, that we can go back and forth with questions and answers. And we haven't got to the point where they've really told us, like, oh, we're here, we're dead, or no, we're in a different dimension. We haven't really had that happen yet, where they've talked to us. We've never really asked. So maybe
I know. I'm thinking that's a great question to ask next time. And we have a pact. Tonya and I have a pact. The first one that dies has to haunt the crap out of the other one. So, we'll get these answers if one of us goes first. We will definitely get these answers because we'll tell each other the answers. Like we will. So, just saying.
Just saying.
I always wonder about whether or not if we're the ghosts to them as they are to us.
Yes. I always wondered that too. That's such a crazy thing to think that we could actually be the ghosts. Right? Don't you think? Would that be weird if it was the other way around?
I'll tell you an example of this. A few years ago, I took myself and 8 other people, so there were 9 of us, on a walk along the original Gold Rush Trail. And the Gold Rush Trail saw many people from all different countries come up the trail to try and find gold. Up in Barkerville, all the way to the Yukon, into Alaska. And we were outside. We were all using K2 meters. I know people who are paranormal experts. Oh, you used a K2 meter? It's so blah. It's so yesterday. I don't care. They work.
I love them. Love them.
Yeah. And we had 9 of them, 9 of them go off at the same time, all red. So through yes, no questions, we were able to pare down that this was a Chinese husband and wife. They'd come over from China, and that they were walking the trail to get to Barkerville, where there was a Chinese community that had been built. Cool. So after about 10, 15 minutes, we said, thank you. We'll let you on your way. And we're standing on the trail, and all the K2 meters are still going off. Okay, well, we told them they could go. Why aren't they leaving? Then we realized it was because we were standing on the middle of the trail. They couldn't get around us. So I walked down the trail a little bit, and I realized, okay, if the people are here, they're going to have horses. So let's just continue down. Is this a horse? Everything's going red. The K2 just keeps on going up to red because the horse is going to carry a buggy. So I said to everybody, I said, let's part the trail. Let them by. They obviously have horses and a buggy with them. So when we parted the trail, we all stood there with our K2 meters pointed at them, and you could see the K2 meters going from red to black, or red to green, pardon me, as they passed.
Did you get any of that on tape, or did you record that?
I do not film a thing.
Oh, that would be so cool.
And the interesting part about that story that I've always wondered is, were we the ghosts to them, or were they ghosts to us, continuing on their trek because that's all they know?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that they probably aren't really aware of us, really, unless you're able to psychically connect with them, it's like it creates a bridge to their dimension or realm to ours, right? So I do think that some of them do know we're here, though. I have spirits in my house right now that definitely let us know that they're here. So it's a very curious question, and I think that's part of these are the questions that drive us to do what we do. To wade through like snow up to our thighs, and just to go and ask some questions of the spirits, that's what drives us, is that what is it, right? What is it? All those questions.
I'm not saying that they're not ghosts. I just don't know if we're still equivalent of ghosts to them.
Yeah.
Here's a weird one for you. What is your opinion, Tonya, on when you are doing a tour and somebody yells out or asks out in their participation, how did you die? Where did you die? Because I've always kind of been told by ghost hunters that that's not a question you should ask because many ghosts don't know they're dead. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we always ask that question, like, do you know that you've passed on? Do you know that you're dead? Like, we always ask that question because, I don't know, it happens more than you think that they don't know that they're even gone. So, I mean, we do ask those questions, and our participants do ask those questions. And quite honestly, we don't get a lot of answers. A lot of them, like, Amy, can you even think of one time where they're like, well, I died, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's almost like they skip over that question. It happens a lot where they just kind of don't even acknowledge. Either they're going to acknowledge that they don't, but the ones that do know they're dead, they kind of skip over the question of the how. That's what we've noticed. Like, they just, maybe it's traumatic. Maybe they don't want to talk about it. You know?
Well, you can't blame them.
No, exactly.
You can't blame them because, I mean, imagine just, showing up, oh, here's a new day in this weird place that I'm in. I don't really remember being here. And some stranger says, oh, by the way, you got hit by a horse running wild and it's trampled you to death. Right?
P.S.
Yes.
P.S. Your wife married someone else or your girlfriend married someone else.
Yeah.
Right? Really break their heart.
Well, I feel really bad for, like, when we went to the Lizzie Borden house, we encountered Andrew Borden, and he's trapped there. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be a spectacle to everybody. He was actually crawling up the wall and the ceiling to just get away from everybody. And, like, as sensitives, like we could feel that frustration and that, like, almost like, can you imagine, like, he having such a horrific death of being axed to death, and then in your afterlife being a spectacle of people coming in. Like, we actually felt really bad about being there a little bit. We really did, because he was literally, and I've never experienced this before, he was crawling up the wall and onto the roof it's like he was trapped. It was like, I just think that's so sad.
It is sad. There's a lot of trapped spirits out there. How many of you come across?
Quite a few, wouldn't you say, Amy?
I would say, yeah.
And I don't know if they're trapped by their own, stories, or if they're trapped by another, like with Andrew. I think there's something darker holding that space and not letting him out. That's what we sensed, didn't we? Like, there's something dark there. And I think that's keeping him contained. But for the other spirits, I don't know. Like, is it their own stories, their own attachments? Are they attached to something?
I think it's unique to every. I don't think there's one answer to that. I think it's unique to every spirit and stuff. Like, their situations are all so unique, right? It's hard to say. I don't know how many we've encountered like that. Like, everything's so we've done so many, like hundreds of investigations. I couldn't even put a number on it, how many we've encountered. But I remember, we've encountered a little boy that he didn't know he was dead, and it's like hard to be like, do you know that you're dead? It's like, no. And it's like, oh, well, you are.
I just broke your heart, but that's okay.
It's like, oops.
You'll never see your parents again.
It's hard. It's hard to be the bearer of bad news.
Why tell them, though?
What's that?
Why tell them?
Well, we don't mean to, but if we say, do you know that you're dead? We've kind of spilled the beans. Then they're like, oh, shoot, we're dead. Just kidding, you're not dead. I'm just wondering if you think you are. Do you think you're dead?
Amy, Tonya, thank you so much. I've had so much fun with you guys tonight.
Oh, thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. You can find Soul Seekers Paranormal on YouTube and every major social media network. Yeah, because for some reason I forgot to figure out what social media was there for a second. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, Swamp Dwellers here with another spooky story. Then little Timmy James will be here for the UFO report. Stay tuned, everybody. We got one more hour to go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Tonya, it was lovely meeting you.
It's lovely meeting you too.
Amy, lovely meeting you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Fart hard, sister. Tomorrow,
Oh, you know it.
get ass and take names. I ask my son every day when he gets home from school, did you fart today in class?
Oh, I will be, if someone is like, ooh, did somebody fart? I'd be the first one to look at. And you know what? I'd be the first one to own it. If someone smelled a fart and I didn't say anything, it was not me, because I will be like, guys, I farted. Like, I will let you know. So
Nice.
I own it. I own it.
Rip ass, sister.
Yeah,
Rip
baby.
ass.
Yeah, baby.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Go get some sleep, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Amy and Tonya, everybody. I love them. Absolutely love them. They're amazing. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I am back. Little Timmy James is in the hot seat. And I want to say thank you for a hat trick of super chats from T-Bone, Poncho as well. Hi, Jerry Carter. Hi, Polly Rotterman. Good to see you guys. What an excellent show. What an excellent, excellent show. Never thought I would tell a female guest to fart hard. Tim's laughing in the background. All right. We're going to get going here in about 10 seconds. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go at the final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Swamp Dweller, the UFO Report, coming up next. Hello, my name is Dave Scott. We appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Want to remind everyone that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Faculative. Faculative is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. I am utterly terrified at this very moment. I'm not home alone, but my brother is dead asleep and nothing can wake him up. Not even loud music. I will first explain what happened to me last night, and then I will begin with what's happening right now. I'm only 15. I'm an Australian, and I fear I have a skinwalker stalking or taunting me. Now before I start, I know that skinwalkers are supposed to only be in America, but I do not believe they are only there. I really do believe there is one here. Last night I went to bed normally, at 8 p.m., scared and terrified for absolutely no reason. I woke up 5 times from what I can remember. The first time I woke up after a happy dream, in a cold sweat, absolutely terrified, scared, and paralyzed. I fell asleep from fear, I'm pretty sure. The second time I don't really remember. I just remember waking up, still feeling absolutely terrified and in a sweat. The third time, I was terrified, still. I wanted to prove to myself that it was nothing, and I was just being an idiot. I sat up and I smelled like I had just run a marathon. I did not care. I got up looking for my dog, Choppy. He is an English Mastiff. He must have sensed that I was terrified or something, because I couldn't find him where he usually was, on the couch. He was on my floor laying there, staring out my door, completely focused on something. This scared me even more, and I just went straight back to bed. I turned on my phone and realized it was around 3 in the morning. I turned it off and just rolled onto my side and looked at my door until I fell asleep. The previous 2 times I remember just doing the same thing, waking up and sitting up with absolute dread and terror. I kept looking and making sure my dog was still there. I made him sleep on the bed with me the last time that I woke up. I told my mom and she just shrugged off the whole thing as me being restless. She is a very skeptical person. I've never had sleeping problems. I have never ever in my life woken up with fear, terror, or even sweat. I will now explain what's happening right now. I live in Queensland. I'm not giving my exact location. My parents aren't home because my mom has to pick up my dad from the airport tonight as he works in Washington and gets to fly home every month. I am basically home alone. I don't even want to call out for my brother to see if I can wake him up. So I'm sitting there in silence, only listening to the taps of my fingers on the keyboard, trying to calm myself, and I am scared that even if I leave my seat to do anything, something will come through my back door after me. My parents are coming around maybe 2 a.m. tonight, and presently it's only around 8 p.m. I'm about to cry. My late evening has consisted of cleaning. I like cleaning as it helps me get my mind off of things. I was finishing up the dishes when I heard the dog whimper. It did not sound like any of my dogs, but I checked anyway. Maybe it was Chopper or one of the other three. So I went to make sure that they were okay. Choppy was sleeping, and the other three were all asleep as well. I went outside to make sure there wasn't a dog or anything, and there was nothing there. This was really odd, but I thought nothing of it, and just tried to play it out as if they were dreaming or something. I do not think it was them. I could still feel eyes on me at this point. I could feel the dread, terror, and everything in me, but I am trying to show that I am calm and relaxed. I don't know if it is working. Something is out there. I can hear it walking, going through our trash. I heard it burp or something. It did not sound like anything I have ever heard. We do not have dingoes in this area, nor do we have any wild or stray dogs that I know of anyway. It keeps growling or trying to talk. Whatever it's doing, I am not complying with it. I'm going to stay planted in my seat. Plus, I do not think, with how I am trembling, I could even walk towards it. Yes, I am that scared. I keep glancing at my glass sliding door and my kitchen window every 5 seconds. I do not want to move. I'm literally shaking. I feel its eyes are on me now, and I can hear something is going through the trash. I have the back door open. I had it open so Choppy could enter and leave freely. He looks terrified. He went out there, and he was barking and growling at whatever it was. So were the other 3 dogs. He came in and the other dogs just went dead silent. He's sitting on the couch just looking out the kitchen window. We both give each other glances. Even if he is just a dog, we are both looking at each other as if though that we don't know what to do, or we're looking at each other like with a what the heck kind of look. I'm going to keep updating people, but before I post this, I'm just going to say, whatever it is, it stinks like rotten eggs, dead rotting animals, and rotten milk or yogurt all at the same time. It is horrid. I'm sorry if this is scrambled and out of place. I'm just so terrified and hoping that your show can maybe spread some light on this.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying. Wouldn't want to have one of those crawling through my house. No. Thank God my ex-mother-in-law lives about 4.5 hours away. That's all I ask. Just stay over there. Stay over there. Oh, what a hideous, hideous soul she is. Anyways, thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another great story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, make sure you hit subscribe on his channel, and you'll get to enjoy thousands of stories just like that. Let's head to the UFO report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
You know, Tim, one of the things that I have tried to perfect over the last number of months, now that I'm in my 50s, I'm in my early 50s, I'm 51, is I'm trying to perfect my grandpa wave. Now that I'm and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it. You know, you just put your fingers out, you got your arm cocked at about almost a 90-degree angle, and you just put your fingers out like that, and then you kind of give a little point with a couple of fingers. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm pointing at you, and then you wave back again. You know, maybe give a little shake to the wrist. I'm doing pretty good with that. I actually have a bunch of people that I know doing that now every time they see me. So catching on. It is really catching on, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing way over there?
I'm enjoying coming on Spaced Out Radio for the UFO report. It has been a fun evening. Let's just put it that way. Juggling cats and oh my goodness. So yeah, getting things sorted out. But yeah, it's just been a little bit hectic over here this evening.
Since we're going out in the forest tomorrow,
Mm.
did you get a chance to clean my baby?
I've got it sitting right over in the other room on the baby holder right now. So she's going to be spotless.
So happy.
Yeah.
So happy.
No kidding.
Make sure you pick up your phone tomorrow when I call.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And she's filthy, my friend.
Oh yeah. She'll be beautiful. She will be beautiful. We're going to kick off the UFO report with a little bit of a somber story here. Okay. And that is former MUFON director Jan Harzan, who was arrested a couple of years ago for solicitation of a minor in Huntington Beach, California. Well, news came out of California today that he was convicted.
Oh.
He was convicted of the crime, and he was sentenced to just over 2 years in jail. Now, Harzan led MUFON from around 2007 up until the time he was caught having interest in young girls. I can't even call them ladies. Yeah. And I hate this subject, man.
Yeah,
I hate this subject, but we have to report on it. Okay, it makes me feel dirty and sleazy even talking about it.
Yeah,
but the one thing that I want to say about this is I think the police did a great job in getting a pervert off the streets. Okay, because at 64, 65 years old, this guy should know better.
You would think.
He should know better. Number one. Number two, he had a great job in one of the greatest fields running MUFON. And he had a beautiful wife, family, and it's all gone. It's all gone. All because he was mentally ill in thinking about this horrific type of fantasy.
Yeah.
Disgusting. The one thing that I don't like, though, and it has nothing to do with Harzan's conviction, although I don't think 2 years is long enough. He was supposed to get up to 3.5 years.
Right.
But there's many people in the UFO community who've been blaming MUFON for this. Okay, saying that MUFON needs to take the blame. What kind of company or what kind of society are they running over there? And all this, the headliners, the I'm offended people who only read the headline. They don't read anything else to the story.
Right.
I just want to remind our audience this. Jan Harzan, for as sick in the head as he is, and I have zero sympathy for him, whatever happens to him, whatever he loses, I mean, the fact that he went after a young girl is not conducive to anything appropriate in society. Okay, it's disgusting. It's vile. Okay, and he should be punished to the full extent of the law. Unfortunately, I don't think that the law was hard enough on him at this time. But this is not a MUFON thing.
No.
This has nothing to do with MUFON. The FBI and the police did investigate MUFON and their computers, okay, to make sure that there was no inappropriateness happening at head office. They all passed with flying colors. Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, but we don't know how many bad apples are out there. There's a lot of bad apples, bad seeds out there who act like normal, everyday people. I used to work with one.
Mm-hmm.
When I worked in Vancouver at the radio station, our crime reporter who got all the heavy assignments and all the major court cases, he then left to go to a television station, and a few years after that, he was finally arrested to the shock of his media cohorts, myself included, because I knew this guy, that he had been abusing his son's 9-year-old friend for 4 years. Okay, as sickening as that is. And you don't know who they are. But just because you don't know who they are, they could be your neighbor, your buddy at work, because we all have people who are buddy at work, but we never hang out. It could be anybody. There's a lot of sick people out there, as we know. But the UFO community should not put their anger and blame on MUFON.
No.
The people at MUFON, their investigators, their board of directors, for the most part, are very, very good people. And they have one true cause, and that is to figure out UFOs. Yes, the Jan Harzan story is tainted. I never liked Jan Harzan. I will tell you that right now. He dodged every media request that I had, because when he was in charge of MUFON, he had that Canadian government attitude where if we don't talk about it, it never happened. They never discussed the Robert Bigelow money infusion of $700,000. We didn't talk about that. If we don't talk about it, it doesn't happen. They never addressed the John Ventry situation of racial comments insulting African American people. They never dealt with that, because if we don't talk about it, it didn't happen. And there are other situations that happened under Harzan's watch that I tried to get an interview with in order to ask him those questions, because I felt the public had a right to know. But he never would. He's like, I'm not going on that show unless it's all peace, love, and light. So basically what he wanted me to do is ask him a bunch of fluff questions instead of treating him like the boss of the #1 UFO reporting center in the world. When you're at the top of something that is #1 in the world, you have to be prepared to ask questions and answer questions. And he was chicken. I could see right through him. He was chicken. So when, I'm not tying that to his arrest or anything, but what I am tying it to is the UFO community needs to do better. It needs to do better and not put everybody in one basket just because they have the title MUFON in their title.
Yeah.
Okay. MUFON is, and I'm not a member. I don't think that's something I should do as a member of the media, in joining clubs and groups like that, because that would insinuate a bias on my part.
100%.
Okay. But the UFO community, stop blaming MUFON for this moron's actions.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with MUFON. MUFON's name has been cleared. I wish that Dave McDonald, their executive director now, would set up a press release or make a statement about something to do with this, just to say, with MUFON, we're saddened, by what happened, because they never talked about it. All right. Because if they don't talk about it, it doesn't happen.
That's all right.
But I wish they would put out a press release, to calm the nerves of the UFO community, basically saying that MUFON's board of directors, the office staff, everybody, they have all been cleared. Nobody else was involved. This was a solitary person making stupid judgments, and that's where it should stay. Your thoughts, Tim?
I completely agree. I mean, I've already obviously not going to reiterate everything you said, that's for sure. But I've had the same experience where, unfortunately, a coworker was very ill and was basically caught, soliciting, right? And I remember having to stand, and everybody's like, "Oh, this company that you work for, blah blah blah," and my take on it was they don't wear signs. It's not like everybody knew that this person that was employed here was had an issue, that being an alcoholic, being an addict, being whatever your illness is, we're not wearing signs. So you're right. I think everybody needs to just dial it down and and quit painting, one whole thing with a brush when it's just one, like you say, one bad apple in the barrel, right? So yeah, it's everybody just, yeah, leave them alone. They've got nothing to do with it. They've cleared their name. Just let it go. Just let it go. And yeah, unfortunately, it's a disease and it's an illness and it's a sick one. And it's kind of, judging that. You've just got to, you don't judge. You're not the judge anyway, right? But yeah, we just sit back and hopefully weed these people out and get them some help that they need, right?
Oh, I agree. I
Mhm.
agree. But, I've know a lot of MUFON investigators through doing this show and
Mhm.
meeting people at conferences and so on and so forth. They're wonderful people. They want the boots on the ground people are wonderful.
Right.
Okay. However, the board of directors, I've got friends on that board,
Mhm.
but I think a lot of their decision making is not proper for the UFO field. I've said that to them. It's nothing I haven't said to their faces. It's not like I'm talking behind their back.
Yeah.
All right. I don't like the fact that, that they try to step away from the people and get more into the government lobbying thing because that's the popular thing to do in
Mhm.
Washington, D.C. when it comes to UFOs now. I don't think that helps their cause. We need a voice to the people. MUFON had a great opportunity to do that, and they stumbled and bumbled once again because they want to make sure that they are locked into any UFO story that comes out of Washington. And so far, I don't think it's really worked, but that's
Right.
just my opinion.
Mhm.
But in this case with Jan Harzan, the former head of MUFON, go enjoy a couple of years of hell in prison. You
Yes.
deserve it for what you did. And nobody's daughter or son, for that matter, should ever have to be put in that predicament.
No.
Ever. And every time one of these idiots gets caught, we all got to clap a little louder because that's one more moron off the street. In this case, I do think that MUFON is needing to address this.
Mhm.
They need to address it with a statement. I don't think they will. I highly doubt they will, because a lot of these companies, they try to play that, oh, we don't know him game. We don't know
Yeah.
him.
See,
So
I can understand that if it was an alleged thing, but he's been convicted and he's been tried. You're right. Now it's time to put a statement out, right?
yeah, they won't.
No.
They won't.
No.
Because remember, if we
Yeah.
don't talk about it, it never happened.
Yeah.
And that's MUFON's downfall.
Mhm.
There's a big difference between the board of directors and their decision making and the people who are actually doing the real work, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as I know a couple of the board of directors very well, and I really like them.
Mhm.
But there are portions of MUFON's upper echelon that seem to run it with an iron fist. And on that note, we will continue the UFO report. Tim James is here on Spaced Out Radio. We'll be right back, everybody.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, buddy, we're clear.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was a good show tonight, as much as I could catch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were
3:30.
fun. I didn't expect the farting talk, but hey, to each their own.
Nope. And then when you brought that up, I was like, oh yeah, it was like 3:30 or whatever in the morning over there. I was like, my gosh, they're gonna be exhausted.
Right?
Definitely. So how was your day?
It was
Better?
a good day.
Good.
Not gonna lie, it was a good day. A
That's
little
good.
rocky start, but we got her going.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, here's a story. Did you get this one on?
Which one?
Well, let me make sure that tab is muted. Did you get the one on? That ain't it. Why would it take me to that link?
You on X?
Yeah.
It's been doing that today. I went to do a couple of things and it took me completely somewhere else. I got one. Yeah, I got a few things. They're all like I said, kind of just little tidbits, but nothing major besides what I texted you earlier. And then did you see the big the article that was published out of the Kremlin about MH370?
No, we'll get to that here in a bit.
That's huge. It's like 9 million pages long.
You're 9 million pages long.
I know. Whatever that means.
All right, we got about 2 minutes here. Let's see here. All right, we got about 2 minutes, bud.
All right.
All right, let's go here. 90 seconds. All right. Thirty seconds. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there's anything else here.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have an issue with filling up this last 25 minutes.
Oh, we'll make it work.
You darn right.
15 seconds.
It'll happen.
Here we go. Oh, like 7 seconds. Sorry. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We very much appreciate you tuning us on in because we love doing this show for you. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here's Tim James, a UFO report. We celebrated an anniversary this week, Tim. Went back to, I believe, 1951.
50, yeah, I think it was. Actually, I'm just pulling it up right now. Yeah, it was 1952. You were close. You were close.
It was close.
Yeah, so all good. This was the anniversary of the Flatwoods Monster. All right. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm sure that there's a lot of people that know about it, but if you don't, a little bit of a rundown on it. It was September 1952, and two brothers, Edward and Fred May, and their friend Tommy Heyer, said that they saw a bright object cross the sky and land on the property of a local farmer named G. Bailey Fisher. The boys went to the home of Kathleen May, where they told their story. May, accompanied by the three boys, local children Neil Nunley and Ronnie Shaver, and West Virginia National Guardsman Eugene Lemon, went to the Fisher farm in an effort to locate whatever it was that the boys had said they'd seen. The group reached the top of the hill, where Nunley said they saw a pulsing red light. Lemon said he aimed a flashlight in that direction and momentarily saw a tall man-like figure with a round red face surrounded by a pointed hood-like shape. So gathering, obviously, like a crown of some sort. Descriptions varied. In an article for Fate magazine based on his tape-recorded interview, UFO writer Gray Barker, described the figure as approximately 10 feet tall, with round blood red face, a large pointed hood-like shape, and then around the face, eye-like shapes which emitted greenish orange light and a dark black or green body. May describe the figure as having small claw-like hands, clothing like folds, and a head that resembled the ace of spades. According to the story, when the figure made a hissing sound and glided towards the group, Lemon screamed, dropped his flashlight, causing the group to run away. So, this went on for a bit, and then so basically the explanations that were given, the conventional explanations, were after the investigation. The case was investigated up to, still and including 2000. So I guess they came up with some better ideas of what was going on. So Joe Nickel of the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry concluded that the bright light in the sky reported by the witnesses in September of that year was most likely a meteor, that the pulsating red light was likely an aircraft navigation or hazard beacon, and that the creature described by the witness closely resembled an owl. So, and Nichols suggested that the witnesses' perceptions were distorted, and through a heightened state of anxiety. Nichols' conclusion are shared by a number of other investigators, including those of the Air Force. So, yeah, there we are again, right? Something big, something huge, and you've got people explaining it away. So, I guess they're still, I mean, they still look at it and they still investigate it and they're still checking stuff out and reviewing information that was given. But yeah, it just seems, again, another one, let's sweep it under the carpet. But I mean, that was quite the big deal, right? So yeah, everybody, it was very well documented and known. So I don't know, we'll have to see again. What are they going to do with this, or is this just going to be one of those wonderful campfire stories that we're going to tell for the rest of our days? And who knows, right?
Well, the one thing I love about these so-called skeptics
Mm-hmm.
like this, I don't call them skeptics, I call them debunkers.
Okay.
Because no matter what you throw at them, their armchair quarterbacking is
Mhm.
always going to try and how can I put it? And deface the story.
Right.
I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
I don't like that at all. Look, I've dealt with debunkers too. Not to that extent, but I've had people when I've been a guest on other podcasts or YouTube channels and people ask me about my encounters. I have seen people all the time, oh, that's BS. That didn't happen. I love the that didn't happen one because I always follow that up with, were you there?
Right.
Were you there? Which tree were you hiding behind? Right?
Yep.
Things like that. And in the case of the Flatwoods Monster, the late Stanton Friedman loved this case. This was one of his favorite cases because there was material evidence. There was great eyewitness testimony from many people, not only seeing the UFO, but seeing the creature as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he went there, he investigated there, and he was 100% convinced this was a real case. Stanton Friedman was not a dummy. You don't become a nuclear physicist if you're dumb.
No.
Old Dave here could never be a nuclear physicist.
Me neither.
Okay. And I find it very, very salty when I see people, oh, that didn't happen. It was a meteorite. It was flares. It was swamp gas. It was grandma at the bingo hall yelling bingo. I mean, we hear it all.
Yeah.
It just makes me roll my eyes about this because I don't mind skepticism.
Yeah.
But Tim, people need to realize when I say people, I mean those who've never had an experience, an extraordinary encounter. They need to realize that the people who experience this 9 times out of 10 did not ask for it.
Right.
Okay. Look a couple of weeks ago when you had your experience.
Yeah.
You saw something humanoid move back from a tree.
Right.
We were only 60 yards from it?
Yeah, about that.
About 60 yards.
Yeah.
And you said it walked diagonally back.
Yeah.
And when we went and checked that area afterwards, we found out why it was walking diagonally backwards. Because
the tree had fallen.
A tree had fallen diagonally from where it was standing.
Okay.
And if it walked straight back, it would have fell over that tree.
And
That's the truth.
And you're right. And it's so funny because, I mean, automatically, as you and I have talked about, and I think we've talked about, lots of people have talked about it, automatically my brain, and I think everybody's brain goes into, let's make sense of this. I think it's just human nature. I have to make sense of this. And when that happened, I had never been back there. I hadn't walked up. You and I, it was the first time we cruised, well, that I was back there when I cruised in there with you. And that was just it. When I started running it through my head and going, did I really? And started questioning what I'd seen, then going up there the next time and seeing where that tree had fallen and seeing, okay, so the movement I saw does make sense. This does, it was like, okay. So yeah, going up there and inspecting the landscape, so to speak, definitely just just verified what I saw and the way it had moved. So it's like, okay, very cool. Very cool.
Here's the point that I'm getting at, and I
Mhm.
think you described it very well with not even knowing. Okay. You were being skeptical about
Mhm.
what you saw. You needed something to understand what you saw,
Correct.
which is why we went out there the following week. We went looking for footprints.
Mhm.
You said the creature moved away from you diagonally. That's where we found the tree that had fallen that was going diagonally the way the tree or the way the creature was moving,
Right.
whatever it was. We know there's no humans in that area.
No. No.
Okay. Unless they're feral, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah, the sneezer.
So the whole point that I'm getting at in the skepticism portion here
Mhm.
is a lot of these people who claim that our stories are bunk, that our stories are made up or whatever, their insinuations, we need to realize, are just as made up
Mhm.
and just as false. But
Yeah.
people believe them because they don't understand that the majority of people who have an encounter, like you did,
Mhm.
their first inkling is not alien, UFO, Sasquatch, ghost. The first inclination from the majority of people out there is, what was that? That looked like a human. What would a person be doing standing there?
Mhm.
Why would they move backwards in the flashlight? Okay. Are
Yeah.
there any cars around? Are there any trails around? Are there any other people around that area in the middle of the forest where nobody drives on that road except
Yeah.
the steam? But that's what I'm getting at. We are skeptical.
Mhm.
We are skeptical trying to debunk what we think is happening. Like when people look at me and they're like, oh, well, you say you've had all of this crap happen. There's no way that one person has had all of that happen. Do you think I asked for any of this? I had
Right.
a happily boring life going on, man. Happily boring life.
Mhm. Well, for
Right.
sure.
And I am the one who is out there saying, well, let's figure out what this could be. When I saw the UFO land in front of me on April 10th, 2014, it was on the ground. It called us outside.
Mhm.
My first reaction was not UFO.
No.
It was Canadian Tire at that time was promoting their 1,000,000 candle watt flashlights that they had.
Yep.
And that's what I was thinking. Is that what it is? I
Mhm.
was looking through that white light because it wasn't pointed directly at us. I
Sure.
was looking through that white light, trying to see human shadows, trying to listen for human voices.
Mhm.
Anything that I could potentially think of in that time frame that was not UFO or alien until I could not rule it out.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what we go through. That's what the experiencer goes through. And that's what frustrates us as experiencers out there is
Mhm.
you get all these people trying to tell us that our incidents did not happen.
Yeah.
Out of any community where we should be safe, it's this community we're supposed to have that conversation with.
That's
And yet
right.
we get blown out of the water for bringing it up.
Yep.
The irony in that, the UFO community doesn't even accept its own UFO eyewitnesses and experiencers.
I know, right? That is ironic. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know, but you're right. It's skeptics that are just yeah. Yeah, they're experts and they don't know what well, I shouldn't say they don't know what they're talking about, but without even being there, they know the answers. Always love that. I always love that.
Oh, I
So,
like going on
Yeah, go ahead.
going on here with your own experience in the forest,
Mhm.
now that you've had a few weeks to think about it.
Yeah.
You've broken it all down. You're a smart guy. Okay. You've broken it all down.
Right.
You're an outdoorsman. You're a longtime hunter.
Yes.
You know the difference between a bear and a human.
Mhm.
You know the difference between a coyote, a fox, and a wolf. You know the difference between a moose and a deer and an
Mhm.
elk
Mhm.
and a caribou if they'd ever get back in our area.
Yeah.
You know the difference.
Yep.
You know the difference between a porcupine and somebody's free-range cattle.
Of course.
Okay. When you look at what you saw, now that you've kind of ran everything in your brain, what do you think you saw?
I am 95% sure that I saw a Sasquatch. 95% sure. I still, and that's my brain, always have that little bit of doubt. But yeah, after running through everything, like you said, what could it have been? And the first thing, like I saw, was just the way I thought the flashlight moved and it was shadowing trees. But when that flashlight wasn't moving and I saw that kind of this right hand side of the body, was like, okay, what could that be? Yeah, I'm 100% or 95% sure that that was a Sasquatch. There's no question. No question in my mind.
Why do you feel you have to have that 5%?
Because that's me. That's just my weird little glitch. It's like, it's almost like I'm leaving just a little bit of room just in case. I don't know. I've always done that, always, with everything. It's like, I'm looking at it and it says, okay, that's blue. Right. And it's always been in my head. And it's like, is that really blue or is that more of a green? Right. It's my processing.
So when your wife Lorelei put the flashlight up and you saw the right half face
Mhm.
and shoulder, did you see any hair? Did
It-
you see any? What
I-
did it look like? Describe the look to us.
Okay. So if just saying that this mic boom, it's like I'm seeing this just like if I'm sticking my head out, it's just kind of like this side. And then this side of the body, I didn't see an
right
eye.
side.
Pardon me?
You're looking at the right side. Remember, our radio audience can't see you.
Oh yeah, duh. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so the right side, from the right eye to the ear, I could not see the eyes. So when she held the flashlight, I definitely couldn't see that it was fur, but the outline looked like somebody was wearing one of those, like those old parkas we used to get from Sears with the big sort of ruff around the collar. That's what it looked like. That kind of rough fur line collar, but it was just the outline was like that. So, like I was saying, it did not. I couldn't specifically see fur because it was too far away, but the outline of it definitely looked like it was fur covered anyway, for lack of a better term. And yeah, it was big. I'd say probably about 8 feet. But what got me is like just the flashlight and the trees. That's what was causing me the biggest issue was just, is it the trees, the shadows of the trees with the flashlight moving? Once she held that perfectly still, there was no question. It was like, that is not a tree. That's not a shadow. That is something. And then when it kind of backed off in that 45-degree angle, I was like, okay, yeah, most certainly. Flashlight's not moving.
No.
Mm-mm.
No. Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting indeed. We'll have to go check out that area very, very soon to see if there's anything else. I was really hoping there would be some tracks there. And the other thing that was interesting to me was the fact that, number one, I got lost in the forest.
Right.
Remember when we were looking?
Yeah.
I got lost in the forest.
Yeah.
And we were trying to find my gifting site
Mm-hmm.
that I've had up there for a number of years now, a couple of years, and I could not find it.
No.
And we went to about 3 different locations where I was like, yeah, there it is. It's over there. And it wasn't there.
No.
And we literally had to walk almost out. And then when we got to the log, that was angled. That's where I looked around and I'm like, 30 feet away. There's our gifting site.
Yep. And that was the other one on like one of a few things, but that was one of the things that made me go, bing. Okay. It's gotta be like what I saw, just it validated it. I didn't know there was a gifting site like 20 feet away from that tree. Not a clue. Right. So yeah, all pieced together. It was very cool. Very, very cool. But we should go back up there, I'm thinking.
Oh, we're going to go back up there. ASAP.
Sounds good.
ASAP. I mean, I just was surprised there was no footprints.
Yeah.
In that area. And the fact that it's been having some rain in that area now, it should make the prints a lot easier to see.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be gumbo getting in there.
Oh, but so much fun. That's what mudding is for.
Yeah.
That's why I got big tires on my Jeep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But we've got about 1 minute left here before we have to say goodnight to everybody on the show tonight, Tim. Do we expect any word next week on the UFO hearings? Or do you expect the dates to be set?
I would suspect yes. Quick answer, yeah, I would think so. If not, well, then I think there's a bigger issue. But no, they said they're doing it, and we're getting down to the crunch. So should be hearing something Monday, Tuesday, I would suspect.
I'm wondering if they're just lining up who to talk to before announcing a date.
True.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, with 2 weeks to go before the end of the month, it would not surprise me if all of a sudden they cancel those dates and push it into October.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Tim, thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight for another great UFO report. We love doing this, Tim. And we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal, rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAV, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SMR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. All right. We are done.
You is done.
That was good, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. A lot of fun.
Yeah. You have to have those two back on again.
Oh, I would like to.
Yeah, for sure.
I would totally like to.
Yeah. Interesting stories.
So, I'm just thinking about tomorrow.
Yep. At 15 millimeters of rain.
I'm going out. I don't care.
Yeah, no.
I'm going out.
I got a brand new set of mucker boots too, man.
Yep. I'm going out. I'm going to find them damn birds. I'm going to find them birds. We're training a dog tomorrow too, eh?
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mike from work is going to join us,
Oh, okay.
and we're training a dog. Because Mike wants to start hunting too,
Okay.
and he's got a beautiful Labrador.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so tomorrow will be the dog's first test of hearing gunshot,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and so we'll start him off lightly with the 22,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and then we'll move up to the shotgun.
Yep.
Just to see how he does, and if he likes it, then we'll get him a smell for the birds.
Yeah, because that's kind of the cool part about it too, is when they're like when you get the dogs out. Well, obviously because you can't do it for big game, but for birding, if it's pouring rain like this, and when the chickens go into the bush and then the dogs rough them all out, it's like yes, yeah, much better.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I would simply agree with you on that, little Timmy.
yes. Are you going back to? Did you mark it where? Where she dropped the S bomb?
No,
No.
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, didn't you? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. When you were talking about the pucks. What's that?
I know she garbled one. She was
Mhm.
about to, and she garbled it.
Yeah. It's when you were just when you asked her to explain what the puck was, I think, and then in there somewhere, and she says, and they grab your S, or they like to grab your S and screw with your S or something like that. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah, that was innocent. That's okay.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, let's go. Hold on. I'm gonna try and calm my audio down here. There, perfect.
Better.
Yeah, I had to, because I had the audio issue last night,
Mm-hmm.
and so Chuck and I got it fixed right before showtime. So in the latest Microsoft update
Mm-hmm.
that happened on Wednesday, and I guess it happened to a bunch of people, they ended up it ended up erasing my Behringer audio file.
Oh, okay.
So I had all the stuff that I had downloaded on there to use my Behringer. I don't even know what the hell to call it. It's where I plug my microphones in. It's like a bypass.
Mhm.
It was wiped off the computer in the last update.
Oh,
Yeah. So we
yeah.
had to reinstall all that. And now my audio is much better.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You sound marvelous.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oop to Joe's Maine. You've got aliens, just to make a reminder here. Hey, Joe. Timmy's going to be cleaning one of my pointy sticks tomorrow.
Yes. Yep. Sprayed it already down with some descaler.
Oh, did
Get her
you?
nice. Yep. Yeah, it's sitting in the rack on the other
Did you
side.
take it apart yet or no?
No, what I did is I just cleaned some of it out, like clean obviously what I could see. And then on the other side of this wall, I've got my stuff over there. It's like a little workshop, and I've got it sitting in the carriage, and I'm put all the junk in it and what have you. That taking it apart tomorrow, because when you said, "Hey, have a look on YouTube," it's like, oh, so I had to watch it a couple times. Like, oh, okay, I get it. So not a big deal.
Yeah, it's once you get the first couple pieces off, then it comes apart easily.
Yeah. Well, especially with all the composite and stuff on there like that, you just sometimes, man, you with that sort of style, if you're pulling something out and you don't have one of the screws or whatever quite out properly, you snap like that, right? You can break stuff so easy, and it's like, oh. So being very, very careful with your baby, sir. You on full tomorrow, or you're going to try to escape earlier?
I'm gonna try and escape early on that.
Okay. Joe Monk, yeah. Some of them, when you try to take them apart, they never go back together. Yes. Yes. It was like on my 31, on my shotgun. It's 3, right? But there's like obviously 3 shells in it. But you can go in there, and if you have it as a camp gun and not a hunting gun, and you leave it in camp, COs don't get on you too much if you go in there and take the spring and the block out, so you can throw a couple more
Yeah, I've
shells.
done that with mine.
Well, yeah, but on mine, I started into it, and was made in 1938, I think it is, and of course, yeah, every single spring and screw and retainer has to come out. It isn't just like ta-da. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm not taking it apart.
Give me 2 seconds here, bud. I just want to hear what this audio sounds like. Massachusetts, where the
circling us, this crazy, they were like, there's people circling you, like, you know.
Nice and clean, nice. Nice. Very nice. Sorry about that, Tim.
No, it's okay, man.
Yeah. Joe, do you want to hear that sexy sound again? I love that sound.
Yeah, I do too. Moody Mongol. What's this? Oh, I got full camo. Not Rambo style, but I got everything camo. It's all hanging up over here.
Show up here for camo.
What's that?
This time of year, you know what's funny is at this time of year, the Caribou where we live, you can tell the newbies who just moved up here from the Vancouver area because none of them are wearing camouflage.
Nope. They're wearing their North Face jackets and yeah, for sure.
All right, Joe, this is for you. Hold on. Hold on here. Oh, somehow I got it upside down.
What?
I know. What a moron.
What are you doing?
Oh, and after all that, I choose the wrong one.
It's okay. No pressure. No pressure.
Here. It's a much lighter case.
Bright orange North Face jackets, right?
What's that?
Oh, it was when I said it, we were talking about camo, and I said, yeah, they're walking around town in their North Face jackets, and then Moody Mongol goes, yeah, bright orange North Face jackets.
Yeah, this is for Joe.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go, Joe. I don't know if I would get in trouble in showing this on camera.
Well, it depends. Because, I mean, obviously there's hunting videos and guys are walking around with rifles and bows and stuff like that. So I don't know why they'd...
Not to show off, but this one does have a really cool pattern on it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go like...
Show the butt. Yeah. There you go.
See the skulls?
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is slick.
Yeah. It's kind of cool how it goes all the way around. You know when Mark Spender got that one?
When he
Because I bought it off of Mark, right?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. When he got that one, he immediately knew that I would buy it just because of the look.
For sure.
He was like, when I first saw it before you even knew about it, he's like, I knew this was yours.
No doubt.
I'm like, oh, you know me too well. Right.
Well, I don't think Mark needs any more pointy sticks, does he?
Oh, he has a lot of pointy sticks. You know the one thing about Mark, he's never showed me where he puts them in his house.
Oh, no.
And I don't mind that. That's none of my
Oh,
business.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know. Knowing him, he's probably got tunnels under his house just in case the zombie apocalypse happens. Mama Susan, yes, those were skulls. Yes, I rather enjoy that one.
Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow, a grouse will not enjoy that one.
No, exactly. All right, so the first one we see, you're doing it.
What's that?
I said the first one we see tomorrow, you're nailing it.
Oh yeah, of course.
Get blood on it.
That will be number one. I think that's the end, right, or beginning, right there. Hold on. Yeah. Tomorrow there will be pointy sticks hanging out of the back of my Jeep, out of the back windows of the Jeep tomorrow.
Perfect. And a puppy.
Well, no, they're going to be driving behind us.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
I figure we'll head. We'll just head behind Exeter tomorrow.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the road to Big Bar is going to be wiped out by at least noon.
Oh, no question. Yeah, good point.
And Sunday we'll go behind Mount Timothy.
Yeah. Probably a safer bet because, like you say, if it's supposed to dump rain tomorrow, that's road or back up, and there's not as bad as some of the stuff that we could get into around here. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, at least we don't get lower mainland rain.
No, thank goodness.
Hi, Anne Joanne. How are you? You snuck in.
Oh.
Joe says, now I want to go poke something with a stick.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, you do, Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do.
That time of year.
It's pointy stick season.
Yeah. I'm actually quite surprised because normally I'm obviously up across from where I'm living, and you get right up into that forest there. Usually that would have been today, Saturday. You would have heard lots of shooting going on back up in there, but not today.
Across the highway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Normally it's popping right now, but no, I haven't heard anything.
There hasn't been a lot of RVs coming up.
No, I've seen just the 1-tons with the campers hauling, like their quads and stuff. But I think they're going way, way farther north than like Prince George and stuff. I think they're going way up into like Fort St. John and Mackenzie and stuff. So
I saw a guy in an F-350 today heading south. He had his the boat rack that goes over the front of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
He had his 12-foot or 14-foot aluminum on there. He had a side-by-side in the back of the pickup. And then he was towing a 30-foot trailer.
Gee. Holy.
Dude.
Yeah, that's a lot of gear to be hauling. I mean, if you can do it, that's great, but man.
That's Mark Spender like.
Yeah.
Totally Mark Spender like.
Well, I've seen some of his pictures before he left and he was posting or whatever, and I was like, okay. And then, I can't remember. I've seen his the truck and whatever, obviously, but his trailer as well is pretty skookum, eh?
Oh yeah. I wanted to buy a trailer like that.
Yeah.
He just puts his cot inside. Right?
Yeah.
Why not? You know?
Yeah, for
On
sure.
that note, everybody, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. I'm going to say goodnight to Tim.
Good night.
And Tim, as soon as I get off the air, I'll quickly call you.
Okay.
And don't forget, Sweet Robbie G is here for Saturday. It's going to be a replay night on Sunday for Rob because he has some things he needs to take care of with SOR. And so that's what we're going to be doing. And I will be back on Monday when my guest will be from MUFON and the MUFON Board of Directors, Bob Spearing. Yeah, we're going to talk MUFON. Thank you tonight to T-Bone with a hat trick, Poncho with the super chats. Thank you to all our new subscribers this week. We really appreciate it. If you are viewing for the first time and you haven't hit subscribe, we'd appreciate you guys doing this and hitting that subscribe button. Good night, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.